Yo, what's going on, people? We're back again, Wrestle Purities podcast. I'm joined by Mr. Parker, Manny the Hooper, Ibu. Many of you know him as Backup Hangman. And yeah, man, obviously we're going to open up. We're going to talk about, of course, the very tragic news of Jay Briscoe's passing. We're all going to say a little piece, pay our respects, talk about like what he meant to us, stuff like that. And then obviously we'll get into like the normal podcast that you expect, but Jay Briscoe meant, quite a lot to all of our fandoms at WrestlePurists, to be honest. Me especially, most of the people on screen, especially, and to a lot of people, he's around for a long time. And, so just to get into it, obviously, Jay Briscoe, as many of you know, he passed away on Tuesday evening after a tragic car accident, which also killed the other driver. There was his children were hospitalised from it as well. The last update, I believe, on them that she was going in for back surgery, one of his daughters. Obviously, very tragic, sad news. That obviously everyone in wrestling, whether that's from WWE, AEW, other old Ring of Honor talents, everyone's been paying the respects forward. And yeah, man, it's just really heartbreaking, tragic news, to be honest. But I'll start off with talking about kind of like what he meant to me, because of course, as some of you may have read, I wrote a little piece about it, because it kind of just felt like the only thing to kind of actually get my thoughts out there. So a lot of what I'll say will kind of be regurgitated from what I've already wrote. But to start off, it's like the Ring of Honor golden generation that we all kind of remember, the Bryans, the CM Punks, the Samoa Joes, etc. And the Briscoes, of course, like we've kind of all watched them grow and develop as wrestlers. Whether that be CM Punk going from, this kind of like punk, like he who even calls himself this punk rock kid from Chicago, to being one of the biggest stars in the business, being on WrestleManias. Yeah, he didn't main event it, but he was still one of the biggest stars in the company. Selling tens of thousands of tickets, whether that's Samoa Joe, who's made multi-millions of dollars in this business, been main evented WWE pay-per-views. Bryan Danielson, of course, had his fairy tale moments at WrestleMania, one of the biggest stars in the business. But and the list of that golden generation could go on and on and on and on, Like, some of them may not have reached the heights of Bryan Danielson and CM Punk, but it's a very special crop of talent that, like I said, we've all watched grow in front of our very eyes, like literally grow as people, grow as wrestlers. The Briscoes was an interesting one because they never got their flowers in terms of, WrestleManias and big TV $1 million deals, but they were still able to build and establish a legacy where they'll always be remembered as one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And for people who remember, like, this journey of following this golden generation of Ring of Honor, it's like Briscoes is even funnier in that kind of sense, because you've literally watched these kids who were like these bald, rugged looking, like rough looking, kids, literally like they were teenagers in the early Ring of Honor years. And it's like the visual change, the way they've grew as performers, and the Briscoes are very special as well, because literally from the first days in Ring of Honor, like they've always been like at a very high level. People in the tributes in the past couple of days have said, like, it's even in the early days, people who were close and around them got able to watch them, were able to say, like, the first time they saw Jay and Mark Briscoe in the ring, like, they were 17, 18, 19 or stuff, and the way that they picked everything up was just like that. They just had the instincts, they had everything. And their instincts is one of the things that makes them really special to me. They were just a really great tag team, and they were able to generally create a legacy without the WrestleManias and the millions of dollars, and still be considered one of the greatest tag teams of all time in Ring of Honor, doing it all in Ring of Honor up until the last day. And, then obviously Jay passed as Ring of Honor tag team champion 13 time. And it kind of, I don't know, it was kind of poetic, like I say in my written feature. We didn't get the WrestleMania main events or anything like that as a Briscoes fan, because I was always a Briscoes guy. All the other tag teams that have come over the years, like, I've always like love the Briscoes more, you know. And it's kind of the trilogy of FTR was kind of like the, you know, the WrestleMania main event that we never got, the television exposure that we never got, all that kind of stuff. That was like our WrestleMania main event for fans of the Briscoes, to get them to have like that moment to kind of cap off their career. It was very special. Then, like I said, like, seeing that journey that they've gone on, you know, the growth that they've gone on as humans, the growth that they've gone on as wrestlers, and the level of, you know, quality they've been able to maintain, just very special. And it's been a very special journey. Like, I've kind of it's hard to actually put it into words, to speak it out, you know, but he meant a lot. It was a hell of a journey, you know, but it's very tragic, sad news. He was one of the wrestlers that I really connected with, and like I say, the thing that I'll miss the most about him is kind of how he would like. He's one of the wrestlers that really would like fire me up and get me excited and like, make me stand up and pump my fists and fucking make me laugh and all those sort of things. He was very special in that regard. And you know, it's hard to find wrestlers that you connect with like that. And you know, like I said, that's the thing that I'll miss the most about Jay Briscoe, is the way that I would connect with him, whether that was through following his journey of career, or whether that was to you know, whether that's just one of his silly promos on the farm with Mark or whatever it is, you know, just the way that he would make me feel as a wrestler, because I felt really connected to him. But I don't know who wants to go next, but if anyone wants to share their, you know, just remember Jay Briscoe and what he meant to you as a fan.
Yeah. I first have to say, well, first of all, again, if you were watching on Tuesday, I'm still sick from there, so bear with me, everybody. First of all, if you have not done so, if you're watching this, at some point tonight, you need to navigate to the WrestlePurists website. You need to go to the front page. You need to go to the article titled "Remembering Jay Briscoe." Monty wrote a really beautiful remembrance eulogy tribute, just kind of essentially what he told you just now, but in way more depth, with great photo selection, all that type of stuff, some real poetic prose as well in there, I thought. You all need to go look at it. Okay, go like just go check it out. Okay, I couldn't have done it better. I'm an English teacher. I couldn't have done it better. So
I
you all
really
need
appreciate that.
you seriously, you need to all need to check it out. It's not flattery. I genuinely couldn't have done it better, because Jay Briscoe meant a lot to a lot of people, but you'd be hard pressed to find a wrestling fan who he meant more to than Monty here. So everybody go check that out. For myself, I have a couple things that stand out. So I didn't get into wrestling outside of like WWE, like classic American TV stuff, until like 2014 ish. So when I started like paying attention to Ring of Honor, I believe, if my memory is correct, that Jay Briscoe was actually the world champion at the time. If not, it was sometime around that time. But so he always, for whatever reason, I guess because of that, came off to me as like a top singles guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was just because, you know, when you get introduced to a promotion, you get the promotion frozen in time as it is right there. And so when somebody's your world champion, you're like, okay, this guy's a big deal. So, so that always just stood out to me, that it gets lost because, frankly, Ring of Honor just wasn't that popular around that time. It was on the Sinclair deal, where it was kind of
The
iffy,
Sinclair
right,
deal,
in terms
yeah.
of distribution and popularity and all that type of stuff. And of course, WWE had started to poach all of their best talent as well. But I mean, Jay Briscoe did an excellent job as champion in the wake of all those departures too. And I think it's a great example of somebody like grabbing their career by the horns, right? Like if Danielson and Punk and Nigel and all those people, if they stay in Ring of Honor for the entirety of their careers, I think there's a chance Jay Briscoe never wins that world title, right? And I think that would have been a disservice. And so I think that's great that we were able to get that chance to see, hey, it's not just the Briscoes. They're not just some team where they have to be associated with each other and it's their tag team or nothing. They can do singles matches. Not only can they do singles matches, they can effectively carry a promotion as singles champions. And of course, Jay specifically was the one who did so. So that definitely stands out to me. The other big thing Almost exactly a year ago this week, I actually met Jay Briscoe and Mark at a GCW show in Chicago. They were in the main event of the show, of course, because they're the Briscoes. They were the GCW tag champions at the time. They defended the titles against the Rejects, Reed Bentley and John Wayne Murdoch. And I love me some John Wayne Murdoch, but I got to be honest, the Rejects, maybe not the best wrestlers I've ever seen. Maybe not the best guys ever out there. But they had a super like nasty, violent, just a fun, like crowd pleasing death match with the Briscoes that just, and that show was so weird too, because there was like Jeff Jarrett smashing the guitar over Alley Catch's head, and there's just lots of very weird stuff. There was like Schlack was a no-show, and so they had to completely restructure the show. So it was really weird. And so there was all this, like, the vibes around the show were just very odd. What a surprise, GCW had weird vibes. But the Briscoes, thankfully, were consummate professionals at all times. And I was able to talk to them before the show. They were just super nice guys. I didn't feel right asking for a photo a lot of times, unless they're like super like into it. I'll just sort of say hi, and I enjoy your work, and then I'll move on. But I was able to see them perform live, and I'm very thankful that I was able to do that, especially for Jay, of course. So those are the two things that really stand out to me. I'm going to talk a bit about Jay's and the Briscoes, as a whole, their sort of half redemption that they were able to get throughout their career, and as a result of comments they made. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit later when we talk about the celebration of the celebration of life. So I'm going to get to that in a bit. So I don't want to cloud the positivity of the remembrances here. But Jay Briscoe was an incredible wrestler. I think a perfect way to sum up his career is he was on the first Ring of Honor show, wrestling in a singles match as having just turned 18 years old 3 weeks prior. He then was on wrestled for the company throughout its entirety up until the very last show at Final Battle 2021. They had by far the best match on that show against the Kingdom. All right. I mean, they were good, but it was the Briscoes who made that happen. The company gets bought. It gets restructured completely. And then the Briscoes go on and have the best match on every subsequent Ring of Honor show. And again, by far on every subsequent Ring of Honor show to maybe the single best 3-match tag team trilogy of all time. I don't know if you can do it much better than that for one company. I don't know if any wrestler has meant more to one company over its lifetime than Jay Briscoe has to Ring of Honor. And so I think I'm just going to leave it at that.
I don't really know where to start with Jay, because I mean, everybody's already said great words already, and I have something coming out in the next day or so too on Russell Pierce about Jay. And I did a match review for his match with Samoa Joe in the cage match. Then I also added my thoughts on it, and I think I'm always gonna remember where I was when I got the news that he passed. It's like I kind of view him the same way Kobe, like they just never left their team, their franchise. And to me, they were known as the Underground Kings, or they're one of the foundations for Ring of Honor, and they were so great that they were the bare standards for tag team wrestling. It didn't matter. FTR, one of their lists is when they want to establish themselves, they have to go to a little indie in Ring of Honor to say that they are one of the best tag teams. It's like everybody had to go through the Briscoes, and I know that they never got their Mania moment and all that. I don't think they wanted that, and I'm glad we never saw them do it, because it would be kind of weird seeing him in that moment. Just being polished on a bright screen. I think they should have been in their dark Ring of Honor stage and having the matches they did. Yeah, and I don't think we're ever going to see a wrestlers carry a promotion on their back like they did. I think this might have been the last people. because if you look at AEW, I mean, there's a whole bunch of guys, doing it all at once. WWE is like its own thing right now. And it's like you can shuffle in anybody in there, but like I said, I don't. Everybody already said a lot of good things about him. I'm still in shock that we just lost a great wrestler, and I'm glad that I was there for the dog collar match, and I was able to see the craziness live and actually understand. Oh no, these guys are crazy.
He's one of the best to the end, man. Like Park was saying, like first episode of Ring of Honor, wrestling Amazing Red, 18 years old. Last episode, while he was still alive, Final Battle 2022, had genuinely one of the greatest tag matches to ever take place on American soil. So, Ibu.
If you,
No, go ahead.
one last thing. I just want the last thing I want to say is like, no matter what happened with Ring of Honor, as long as you knew the Briscoes were there, you just knew that you had nothing to worry about. The company's gonna stay the same, and you're always gonna get the quality matches you deserve because they're never gonna let you down. Because if they're gonna be with you through thick and thin, and obviously the Briscoes could have signed with anybody right after they went out of business, but then they chose to wait to see what was gonna happen, and they decided to sign with Tony Khan and AEW as soon as they got it. And Tony Khan was also make sure that they were the first guys they signed because he also knew how important they were to the brand. That's all I was gonna say.
The Briscoes were the brand. That's the thing, like you guys have all said. The one constant in all these Ring of Honor shows for 20 years is that the Briscoes would be on the card, and regardless of how much they got paid or how good Ring of Honor was doing, how healthy they were financially, they're gonna go out there and bust their ass because for them it's like they were man's men. They were wrestlers in the sense that they're very old school. I think back to their promo Monty where they said they're talking about Davey Richards and they were like, what did he say? He said Terry Funk ain't wearing no mouthpiece. He said Bruiser Brody ain't wearing no mouthpiece, man. Come on, man, talking about no mouthpiece. Yeah, just that's them, man. I think about that. I think about these two guys when they're like 20 years old, whacking the shit out of each other with chairs in a backyard in a singles no DQ match. It's the ghettoest thing I've ever seen. That's the Briscoes. They loved wrestling. It wasn't about it really wasn't for them about becoming big time superstars.
Bright lights and the millions
bright
of dollars.
lights and the millions of dollars. Obviously if they would have had the chance to do it, I'm sure they would have. But ultimately, I think at some point they embraced the fact that they were Ring of Honor. I think about how they were put in a position where they unfortunately weren't going to be able to get that big shot for various reasons, and for them, like I said, they just embraced representing what I think is just the most influential American independent promotion by far of all time. When you look at Ring of Honor and just the prestige that came with being a part of the brand, and all the names that we mentioned, the Smojos and the Nigel McGuinnesses, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk. It's legendary, right? And the Briscoes, they touched the gloves with all of those guys. That's why in that famous promo that was kind of was circulating Twitter the other day about Jay Briscoe saying why he didn't want to shake EC3's hand, and he was like, "Bro, this is the hand that shook Masawa's hand, and Bryan Danielson and Nigel and Kobashi and Tyler Black." You know what I mean? Like that the whole honor is real concept was real to these guys. And I think what really struck me, guys, when I was looking at social media, it was really, really just tough to read all the tweets. Like it was really, really difficult. And I was just scrolling the timeline, retweeting everything because everybody said beautiful stuff about them. But it was really just striking how many people that they affected and came across and worked with in the business. There's wrestlers from every company you could think of that they had encounters with them because these guys were everywhere. You know what I mean? Ring of Honor, as I said, it was so pivotal and important to the business. They were really just a feeder system for just the future that a lot of you guys listening, a lot of your faves came across the Briscoes and very much had to go through them. Seth Rollins tweeted about the Briscoes and Damian Priest and Sami Zayn and Christopher Daniels and so many guys. The Young Bucks, it's all throughout Twitter when I'm scrolling, so many guys who came across them. You know, they did tours in New Japan. They went to Noah. You know, they literally touched base in so many different places, and their scope of influence is really, really broad. And so when I was just seeing them get their love from the industry, it was really, really beautiful. It was really touching, but it also really just kind of um, encapsulated how important they were. You know, like Manny said, they didn't get the big time deals or the Mania appearances or anything like that. But regardless, I think that they are absolutely, dead or alive, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. They're an absolutely special act. And the crazy thing about it is there were like no signs of them slowing down. They were operating at an unbelievably high level to the very end. The trilogy that they had with FTR was incredible, and I identify with Monty in the sense that, like, these days, because I've watched so much wrestling for now over 20 years, you know, I can appreciate just the greatness of so many of today's talents, but it's hard for me to find too many people that particularly move me. And so it's a big accomplishment that, like, those FTR Briscoes matches had me reacting the way I was. That last one, the double dog collar match, like it was off the charts. And it got me in a way that, like, a lot of wrestling doesn't these days. And so, again, as a viewer, I appreciate what they contributed to the business. But just on a human level, it's really unfortunate that we lost someone like Jay Briscoe, who, by all accounts, seems like he's an amazing father. And, you know, my sympathies are with the people that are close to him. And I hope that his kids can make it through, because this is an unbelievably tragic situation. Yeah, man, Jay Briscoe, Mark Briscoe, amazing team. God bless them, Godspeed. And, you know, just keep everybody in your thoughts, guys.
Yeah, man. Jay Briscoe, like I said, for me, for my money, best tag team of all time. Jay Briscoe, even as a singles wrestler, genuinely one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Like the promos, man, like the farm promos and shit. It's just like there's so many, like, there's genuine, like, classic promos that have been got on that farm. You know?
Campbell's chunky.
You gotta lay off chunky.
We ain't Campbell's chunky, man. Get serious. We ain't
It's so
Campbell's
good. Chunky.
And when the flock of chickens died, and before the first two Young Bucks, that was circulating Twitter yesterday.
They're like shoot pissed about it. It's so good.
There's a line in it where he's like, he says something like, it's $50,000 for a flock. He's like, we do 8 flocks a year. He's like, so you do the math of how bad of a beating the Young Bucks are gonna get on Saturday. It was just
You really believe they were who they presented themselves as?
Yeah, special talents, bro. Like,
in the Campbell's chunky promo, Mark is cleaning a handgun the entire time, like in the background, and he's like pointing it at himself. He's like, oh, does that look good? It's like just like being a comedian.
Even the recent farm promos on FTR and stuff. It's like Mark would be in the back making himself chocolate milk or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, Mark's always in the back doing some bullshit. Yeah, man. Genuinely, as an act, probably like up there in my top tier of, like, favorite promo people of all time. So, like, right up there with, like, you know, every time you see him on screen, they'd like invoke something of, like, Jay would either fire you up or you'd laugh or something like that. It's like up there with, like, for me at least, my enjoyment up there with, like, your Dusties, Ric Flair, anyone like that. The people who really, because, you know, like, anytime you watch a Dusty promo, it will make you smile in some way. You know, just Dusty. That was a similar thing I got with, like, Jay and the Briscoes with their, like, farm segments or whatever sort of promo they were putting. It was just they were beasts, man. They could fire you up, they could make you laugh, they could do everything, man.
I do want to say, like, I always knew the Code of Honor was something important, but after listening back to him naming the names that he shook his hand, and I'm thinking about it, like, a couple days later, it's like, man, he was really a good bridge between the old pillars and then, like, the modern day indies to, like, all the stars that we have now. Like, I don't think we're ever gonna see wrestlers like that. And
it's a dying breed.
It's a dying breed.
That specific mold of talent that came up the way they came up specifically, it's a dying breed.
And then now the Code of Honor means something completely different to me, and, like, it's something special now. Like, You just imagine like some of these Ring of Honor wrestlers, like the hands that he shook and all that. Now it's just, it was already a special thing before, and now it's an even greater thing. Like, it's up there to me. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. If you know what I mean,
I feel you, Manny. I want to also just toss out. I said this privately, but I want to also say it on the air. Parker had the unenviable task of reacting to this live on the air on Dumb Guy Live on Tuesday, and he's covering the stuff he's covering, and then he finds out along with Murph and Jamie that Jay Briscoe has passed, and like when I say unenviable, I mean unenviable because I couldn't imagine how I would have acted being on camera on YouTube as this news breaks. And I just want to say that I'm really, I just admire how Parker handled everything. Murph did really, really great with his speech, just in the moment eulogizing the life of Jay Briscoe, and the appropriate decision was made to essentially end the show after Murph said those words. And so I'm just really, really happy with how that was handled. And I am so happy and proud to be associated with the three individuals of Dumb Guy Live, including Parker, who's right above me. Really well done. And I just wanted to put you guys over for that because dude, like if I was in the, I would have muted, I would have turned my camera off. I would not have known what to do.
I did basically.
That's what I'm saying, because it's just like, bro, like
I was off camera anyway, but look, that's
Yeah.
basically what I did. I was just
Was
completely
well,
speechless.
wasn't it me who broke the news to you, Monty?
Mm-hmm.
I told it to you like about 10 minutes before it Tony, I think, tweeted roughly.
Yeah, because it was like one of an indie wrestler tweeted about it, and then there was a couple of like tweets like, please no, obviously a lot of people got mad at Cassidy Hines for him. He tweeted something like, please don't be true. Obviously because of what happened the other week. I do think people were kind of, not to make this about fucking Twitter and stuff, but it's obviously, it's like, I personally didn't hold that against him too much, to be honest, because it's like, it was just traumatic, isn't it? People were tweeting things such as that, and then I saw Sanjay Dutt tweet something, and that's when it like really hit me, like fuck,
Yeah.
Then as much was confirmed to me by yourself, Ibuv, and Tony, like a few minutes later, done the tweet. And
Mozzie, it was brutal because for me, I was at work, right? And then I saw the cast tweet, and then I didn't even like look into it too much. And then like next thing you know, I checked my phone immediately, and I was basically getting word like the NXT locker room was freaking out. And I was like, why? And they're like, well, word's going around that Jay Briscoe died. And I was like, did anybody say anything public? I searched his name on the timeline and stuff, and I didn't hear anything. And next, another person said something to me, and I was like, oh my God, like, is someone going to say something, or like, what's going to happen here? And then I told you, I was like, are you live? Because I couldn't watch the video, but I was like, are you live? Because like this happened, and I said it, and like you kept typing and deleting stuff, and then boom, right there, Tony Khan tweets, and it's like, holy shit. Yeah, man, it was fucking crazy. But yeah, man, Parker, you did. I thought you did tremendous, and it was very appropriate of you to not like turn the situation into like something where the video could profit, I guess, so to speak, off it, whether it be super chats or viewership or whatever. It just wouldn't have been right, and it's a very mature decision. If you go ahead, Parker.
Yeah, well, yeah. My thought was just because there's always a chance that it's like, that it was something controversial or something that wouldn't have warranted a tribute or a memorial, if that makes sense. And so I didn't want to jump the gun on anything. I didn't want to I'm not trying to make unprepared gains off of something as tragic, right? Yeah. And so I thought if I could just say like what Murph said, like Murph taking the time to say what he had to do at 18 years old,
on the spot,
saying on the spot to a wrestler that he's seen wrestle dozens of times, is remarkable. And I'm not gonna like put his life on blast, but it's remarkable in ways that like not even people who are on this pod like realize. So give him all of his flowers for that.
Absolutely.
Like I was just the person who felt like I was in charge, and so I made the decisions. And so yeah, it was very sad. I'm sure you saw all three of us get really emotional on the pod, and so yeah, I'm in with that. If just sort of getting back to the celebration, I'm very happy that we're able to come back and do this and talk and celebrate his life.
Especially going back to what Park was saying with Martha. I was actually quite blown away by like how he was able to kind of pull that out of nowhere. It was insane. Too. I was just like, whoa, because it's like we've all gone round and said our bits already. Marth on the spot just done like a nice 3-minute eulogy, and what he meant to and what Jay meant to him and the Briscoes meant to him as wrestlers, and obviously highlighted that it was a tragic situation and stuff, and how we will be missed. And like Park said, 18 years of old, he done better than anything. Like I was saying to you earlier, like I went silent. I was just broken. I was speechless. Like Ibu mentioned earlier, like when he told me, I kept typing and deleting stuff. Like I was speechless. I didn't know what to say, or I didn't know what to say or do. It was rough, man. But again, Murph, if you're watching, we're gonna clip this and make sure you see it at least. But you killed it, man. Like I know we all like especially me and Ibu, where you like the annoying little brother in the chat and stuff, and you have your little things that you do, your wind-ups and that. You should genuinely be proud of that, honestly.
Absolutely.
Like, I know it might have just seemed like you saying what you had to say in the moment to make it not awkward or whatever, but like you genuinely done yourself pretty proud with that, But yeah, carry on, Ibu.
No, that's it, man.
I love this comment real here from my
people are gonna be watching random Briscoes YouTube promos like how people watch random Razor vignettes now.
It's true. It's true.
So like that day it happened on Tuesday, I was in a Sonic drive-thru. I got a milkshake, I got my stuff, and then I got the news, and I literally pulled over into one of the stalls and just sat there for like 16 minutes or like 20 minutes while my shake just melted. I was like reading everything,
and I was ain't gonna taste the same, bro.
And
it's the worst, man.
And then
when you get horrible news like that, it's the worst, man.
Yeah, I was just reading everything. Like my grilled cheese was cold, and I was just like, I just went home, man. Like I was like, man, what do I do now? Like, and I was just so happy reading the timeline with everybody, like all the wrestlers and everybody that took photos of him, just going through the timeline, and people were doing match recommendations. And I'm glad, like, I'm part of the Late Night Grin Discord, and somebody decided that they were like, for people who just wanted to watch Jay Briscoe, they started doing a marathon of his matches, and I'm glad that somebody did that, because it was better doing it with friends, instead of just watching it by yourself, like in a dark room, just like being sad about it. So I mean, I'm glad that the whole community came together to celebrate a man's life.
I have to. So I'm a teacher and coach, and one of my speech and debate students does follow wrestling pretty closely. And at practice, when he came up, when he's walking in, he was like, and he has autism as well. He actually struggles socially quite a bit, but he has a community in speech and debate. And he was like, "Are you okay, Mr. Klein?" And I was like, "About what?" And he was like, "Well, Jay Briscoe." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing okay." And I was like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I was like, all right, bro, you got it." But I do love that. Like, and that's I think that's one of the great things about sort of like semi-niche interests like this that are wide enough to be nationwide or even worldwide, but are also sort of secluded enough to where not everybody knows who Jay Briscoe was. Not everybody knows who the Briscoes were, or who Ring of Honor, or what Ring of Honor is, or anything like that. And yet there are those, what I think is like, this is so pretentious, what I think is like the lifeblood of like life. What makes it worthwhile is interpersonal connections and mutual understandings and things like that. And so to get that from something like this, I think it's really, really, really powerful and really heartening to see.
Yeah, it's special, man. Briscoes, Jay, he touched a lot of people, and it's obviously it's unfortunate. So this week's kind of a cool moment for you to have with one of your students as well. But yeah, the Briscoes, man. One of my it's funny. Like, one of my genuine favorite pastimes is like, I think like Manny probably does this as well from the tweets that I see of his. Like, you just go on YouTube and just like look for old Briscoes matches against like a lot of the time they'll be wrestling like two singles wrestlers put together or some shit.
Yes.
Like he'll be in like some shitty venue. And they'll be fucking taking crazy heads and they'll be brawling to the outside and Mark will jump off the top of a building and fucking,
concrete DDT, a suplex on the floor.
I know this is about Jay, but man, watching some of these earlier matches, 18-year-old Mark Briscoe, man, he was a monster. I had no idea he was that good,
bro.
And that athletic. He did like I was watching the Amazing Red match with AJ Styles, and he did like Amazing Red did like a roll up to him, and how he got out of the roll up was he did a nip up, and he got it perfectly. And then like I was like, what the hell? I've never seen anybody do a nip up out of a pin attempt. It was
beast, man.
That would be.
It's cool because for me, right, I like found out what Ring of Honor was in 2008, but I had no means or way of watching Ring of Honor at the time.
Yeah,
because it's like it's mostly you either go to the venue and watch the show, or you buy a DVD or whatever. And so, I remember like I would be on the internet, right, and I'd read about all these names, and so I knew every major Ring of Honor wrestler's name about 2 years before I could really start consistently watching them. So, I consistently saw Austin Aries, Bryan Danielson, I saw Jerry Lynn's name, the Briscoes, Tyler Black, guys like that, right, and Ring of Honor got a TV deal with HDNet, and I remember like asking my mom to expand our cable package to get HDNet and like finessing it. And I remember like when I was watching Ring of Honor, like I was like, oh, so like, it was so cool because like all of a sudden I had faces to all these names because like I didn't really have that, right? And the coolest thing for me was I got familiarized with all these guys. I thought the product was really cool. And the Briscoes were among the people that I thought were really awesome. And when I stopped watching wrestling, right, a couple years after that, I came back and like the landscape was totally different of wrestling in general in the States, right? And one of the coolest things was I get back into WWE and I see Cesaro and I'm like, that's Claudio Castagnoli. And I see Sami Zayn, I'm like, oh, that's El Generico. Oh my God, holy shit, he's in WWE now. Kevin Steen's in WWE. Whoa, right? And the funny thing was, I remember thinking, like, who's still in Ring of Honor? Like, who's still in Ring of Honor? And then I'd see the Briscoes, I'm like, oh my God, they're still here. And then they're like, I'm like, oh, they're even better now. Oh my God. So just a funny thing I wanted to point out because when I got back into wrestling, whatever it was, 2015-ish or whatever, everybody was gone from the Ring of Honor that I discovered except the Briscoes and like the Young Bucks seemingly. And just a model of consistency, man. No matter what period of the Briscoes you look into, they're awesome. Yeah, they're exactly. Literally, I'm really happy I got to see them live last year around the same time Parker saw them live. I saw them at the Hammerstein show against Nick Gage and Matt Tremont. So, yeah, man.
The consistency, man. It's like again for like the 50th time on this podcast, they are my number one tag of all time. So that consistency over, well over a decade now, like genuinely like up there the whole time. It's like if they're not your best tag team in the world, they're at least worthy of being in the conversation. They've been at that level for at least like 13 years or something.
And they can do
probably longer than that, bro. Been like on top of. Go on.
Sorry to interrupt. I forgot who it was. It might have been Alan Farrell or something like that that said that they might be the only wrestlers to have great matches from the beginning of the career to the end of the career. Because I think the Amazing Red and AJ Styles match is like their third match in Ring of Honor, and it's like their first year wrestling.
And it's
good.
And yeah. No, it's like
it's not just a novelty pop. It's like it's a good match,
Yeah, it's a great match.
Jay, the Briscoes versus each other was on the 1 year anniversary show of Ring of Honor was Jay versus Mark, which was also a great match. Yes. So yeah, literally from the beginning up until
2002.
By the way, they have so on that show, which is like one of the better reviewed early Ring of Honor shows of all time. That's they have the current third highest rated match on that show. Some matches they're ahead of, or one match that they're ahead of, is Bryan Danielson versus Samoa Joe on that show. So I think that's a pretty good indicator of how damn good these two guys are and were.
You go back to those Ring of Honor names from 2002, and I know like the age is different, vary for some of these guys, but like you go back to those you know, a lot of those names, right, from the early 2000s of Ring of Honor. Very few of them are operating at the same level as they were at the time that are still active. You know, AJ Styles is still a very good wrestler. He's not the guy he was in the 2000s. You know, whoever, it's really like, it's Danielson's still incredible. The Briscoes are still incredible. The Bucks are, you know, the last few years they've been better than they've ever been. But like a lot of those other guys they're either just not in the business or they're just not at the same level that they were at that time.
And I also want to bring notice to that match that somebody posted earlier in the week, was their backyard match where they wrestled on dirt.
Yes.
Yeah, that was insane. Some of the bumps that they took, and I know that they're bros, but they were throwing live rounds at each other.
Yeah, bro.
It was insane.
Yeah, it was especially watching it like now, you know.
CT,
what we know about CT and shit, bro. Like, they were.
Monty, did you see what I tweeted? I wrote it was a CTE classic.
Bro, crazy. Crazy.
They got those plastic chairs, not the steel one, the hard plastic chairs. And Jay just started
breaking on his head.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to break the chair on each other's heads, bro. It was crazy. But that's another thing with the Briscoes, man. It's like on top of the consistency, it's like the match catalog as well. Especially like seeing people like post like the quirky matches that Jay and the Briscoes would have, like stuff in Japan, stuff here, stuff there, stuff in the backyard. Their match catalog is genuinely like, it's so long that it would be almost impossible for anyone to actually like fit everything on it and not forget one weird obscure match from here or there. Like that match catalog is as impressive as like anyone's, you know. Yeah, man. Then just them as characters as well, just truly unique, really authentic, believable, funny, just exciting, amazing. Just yeah, man. We could go all day, honestly, about the Briscoes. It would be quite easy, you know. We've already done 43 minutes. It feels like we've barely scratched the surface, you know. It was special, man. Especially very special to my fandom, especially getting into Ring of Honor, you know. Seeing like Jay and Mark like just kind of, it's kind of like rugged as they are, you know, and kind of like the wildness of early Ring of Honor, like that would kind of draw me in, and the Briscoes were a big part of that. So yeah, and like Ring of Honor is kind of a big part of my fandom as a whole. So you can't talk about Ring of Honor without talking about the Briscoes. So you know, they meant a lot to me. It's obviously tragic, heartbreaking news, and we're all sending thoughts and prayers to the Pugh family. There has been a campaign set up to raise some funds for the Pugh family as well. I'll attach it to the link. I'll attach it to the bio in this. I'll do it as soon as we've finished here. But as soon as it's uploaded, I'll get that in the description. So if anyone wants to find that, we'll do it there. It's on our Twitter page as well. But again, rest in peace to genuinely, for more money, like one of the true greats of his era of wrestling. As Ibu was mentioning earlier, he touched a lot of people in the business from all corners because of what Ring of Honor was and the way that the stars of Ring of Honor went on to influence the business. It's like someone like Jay Briscoe, who was there from day one to now, has obviously touched a lot of people that have gone on to become basically the business that we see today, you know. But yeah, obviously, last night was Dynamite. They played the, you know, they done like the picture tribute that you get sometimes. Very, you know, very kind of like, you know, what WWE do as well sometimes, and you know, just kind of picture with the two dates, and you know, rest in peace, I mean, Pugh, but. It wasn't, you know, the one, apparently, according to Dave Marks on the rest of the radio, they were not allowed to do an actual, like, tribute show for Jay. And, you know, there was no kind of, like, like a 2-minute tribute video with kind of like, and people talk. There was like none of that, The wrestlers were allowed to wear an armband, but as far as like kind of, celebrating his life on TBS, TNT, like that apparently was not allowed by the network, which, it's a shame. Obviously, Tony Khan did tweet before the show went live that that they did film a tribute show which will air on YouTube and on Honor Club and stuff, but that will not be. It seems like that is just not allowed to be on the network. Obviously, this is to do with the Briscoes had a funny relationship with the networks and stuff because of Jay Briscoe's. Jay Briscoe made some homophobic comments back in 2013. He was rightly criticised for them back then, but it's in that 10 years, it's according to people close to him. Obviously, I can't talk to him as a person. I did not know him, but according to the people that have been around him, close to him, stuff like that, they've all noted how in recent years that the Jay that would have made those tweets in 2013 a completely different person to what he is now. They always talk about how welcoming and respectful he is, and welcoming from all walks of life. It doesn't matter who you are or whatever. And talk about him being a family man, and as much as someone can without trying to be like fake about it, he kind of he a lot of people whose word have a lot of weight in these kind of things have spoke about how Jay Briscoe has really worked to kind of redeem his reputation, and his reputation had softened over the years, especially to the point where if you was a fan of the Briscoes and you was disappointed in them and you wanted a reason to be able to kind of get back into them and give them another chance, like you could, they did soften their reputations to that point, but just not to the point where these big networks and stuff were happy to broadcast them on their television, even though we did get kind of like, we got the Briscoes promo before that last FTR match that aired on TV, which was, even that was like a big shock, and it was like, what, a 2-minute promo or something. But yeah, man, it's like, even like with last night, with it being such a tragic thing that happened, and the comments just being like tweets from 10 years ago, you would have thought that maybe, they could have been able to work something out for, due to the circumstances, but unfortunately not. But the tribute show has been filmed. It just will not be allowed to be filmed, produced. What's the word I'm looking for? Air. We're not allowed to air on any Warner Brothers Discovery programming, which is, I think it's absolute bullshit, to be honest. I think most people, especially wrestling fans, have spoke out all day like about it being absolute bullshit, because it's like, even in the context of it just being like, it was AEW Dynamite last night was literally the lead-in for Dana White's Slap League or whatever the fuck it's called. It's a mess. And Dana White literally got found recorded, in public smacking the shit out of his wife, which is just like
multiple times.
Yeah, it was just terrible. I've never been a big fan of Dana White, and obviously that fucking enforced it times 10. So he's literally got caught on camera, red-handed, like domestically abusing his wife or whatever you want to call it. Beating his wife, laying hands on a woman, however you want to phrase it. Then for TBS to turn around and air the slap fight league or whatever the fuck it's called, hosted by Dana White, is like, but they can't do it. They can't do it.
Monty, they gave it a week off. That was the punishment. They canceled its original air date and then just delayed it a week. And it goes beyond even that, man. Because among the things under the Warner Brothers Discovery umbrella is the DC franchise. Yes. I was gonna say
he's a sick fuck. Look,
Ezra Miller is a maniac, and to this point, he's still locked in on future projects with the Flash, and WBD has done nothing about that. And so, to me, I think what this shows, if nothing else, is that when it comes to these businesses, morality, the buck stops at just how much money you can make, because they don't give a damn about what happened with Dana White. They just wanted to wait it out, and hopefully it goes away, and then you air whatever you were planning to do. Same thing with Ezra Miller and the Flash, because it's a big IP. And so that's why, to me, them honing in on the Briscoes is ridiculous. I think it's even more ridiculous when you think about like this business is full of dubious people. You know what I mean? Full of dubious people, top to bottom, everywhere you look. So for them to just go, Briscoes, your tweet from 2013 is why you got
it is nuts, man.
It's really weird, because if you applied any modicum of consistency to that type of ruling and enforcement, we'd be missing a lot of guys from television on wrestling.
Fucking everyone, bro. No one would be. Yeah.
Over their tweets from 2013, and this is not me condoning anything that they said. I'm just saying that from a consistency standpoint, it makes no sense to me in any way.
Yeah, it's like I wrote in the article I wrote about Jay. It's like he'll never be able to take back those homophobic comments he would, and the comments were really bad, you know. But like I said, if you was looking, if you wanted a reason to actually like give them a chance again, you know, and you wanted to see somebody who would go off and learn from the experience and seemingly grow as a person, and you know, and obviously just having many people vouch for him unwarranted, you know what I mean? Whether that be Ian Riccaboni or even Effie in recent days, you know, whether that be wrestlers from the, you know, LGBTQ community and stuff like that, you know, they would all talk about him being so welcoming and stuff like that, and he was never, you know. But a lot of people would even say as well, like Jay Briscoe, like, yeah, he was intimidating, you know what I mean? He was, you know, a man amongst boys. He was a captain of the locker room. He was this, he was that, you know, and he was intimidating. But once these people would always say, like, once I spoke to him, he was so warm and welcoming, and he was a family man, and he was this and he was that, you know. And people don't just do that unwarranted, you know. So, like I said, if you wanted to genuinely get a better judge of his character from the people that have been around him, and you wanted to only hear positive things, that is genuinely what all you heard. And if you wanted to enjoy him again and not kind of feel guilty about it and think that he's this homophobic piece of whatever, then you could do that, you know. So for him to be still held by the sword up until the very end was very kind of, you know, it's bullshit. It kind of always wonder, like, why Jay? Why is that such a big deal? You know, if that makes sense. Like, not in the sense, not to dismiss what he did or anything, but like Ibu was saying, there's so many wrestlers that have done, like, whether it's this or that, or you know what I mean. There's so many wrestlers that have fucked up or just pieces of shit, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And it's just like for them to focus in on like a tweet from one wrestler who, you know, it's not like Jay Briscoe is the biggest wrestler in the world and it was all over NBC News front page and stuff. I just found it very peculiar that they kind of, you know, put a magnifying glass on that situation.
So to be clear, even outside of all the like blatant hypocrisy that's being shown and like the inconsistencies, it's still pathetically like embarrassing to not allow this person to work in AEW by, you know, if you're the network. Like, who cares? Like, can people not make mistakes? And again, this is not to excuse anything. It's just, I just don't understand the rationale behind it. Like, are you so profit obsessed that, and do you have such little faith in people's like ability to change that you think that something from 2013 is their set in stone, necessary, indicative, conceptualization of life, like forever, regardless of the fact if, you know, whether it was even in character or not? You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm gonna go by what people like Effie have said. Jay Briscoe showed me respect and love when everyone told me he wouldn't. If you knew Jay, you knew he would uplift everyone in that locker room, regardless of whatever world they came to wrestling from. The best, rest easy, brother. Dark Sheik responded. Dark Sheik is trans. Seconded, nothing but kind words and good memories. I think that kind of speaks for itself more so than the tweet from 9 years ago. Wouldn't you say? I just think I just not to make it more than it needs to be, but the wrestling, I think in general has a bit of a has a bit of a problem where a lot of times wrestling fans act like Warner Brothers Discovery in this situation, and they don't generally let people return if
There's
they've shown
always got to be a
genuine
path for
amends.
redemption, unless someone's like a
Yes.
rapist or a pedophile
Yes,
or
of
something
course,
like
of
just
course,
purely
of
like disgusting, you know what I mean? Like if someone
Yeah.
just said some off-color comments or made a mistake, it's like if we're just trying to like cancel people or whatever, then it's like the people need a road to redemption. Otherwise, like how do people get better? Like how does canceling people and stuff, like how does that how does that help these people get better? Do you know what I mean? Like we should want the people to get better, not to just completely get rid of them. And this isn't a fuck cancel culture rant or anything like that. You know what I mean? Of course, like whether that be speaking out or the Me Too movement, they've done absolutely a lot of good in the world, But this, like I said, again, this isn't a cancel culture movement speech or whatever, but this is more just, if we're just trying to cancel people and not give them any sort of chance of redemption, then like, what's the point? We just cast away people and shit. I don't know.
Monty, when I've been watching wrestling 20 years, right? But I didn't really engage with wrestling Twitter until 2021. And one of the most surprising things that I encountered when I came in was just it really isn't a whole new world in terms of hearing how like wrestling fans on wrestling Twitter think about people. And so I was shocked at just how many people that I just regarded well were like hated, right? And I would be like, I remember I'd come on the app and I'd be like, oh yeah, man, this guy, and they'd be like, oh, he's a this. And I was like, wait, what? And then they'll show me like a tweet screenshot or a Facebook post from like 2015 or like 2012, and they're like, yeah, fuck this guy. And it's just like, I mean, for certain situations, like it applies, but it really was so jarring to me. But like that, what you guys have been talking about, where it's just like, wow, so I just have to now like hate all these people that you just listed because of this and because of that and because of this and because of that. It's just, go ahead.
And the big incongruence is that I don't think there's a single person who genuinely thinks that the Briscoes are homophobic or were homophobic, right? Like now in 2023. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody out there who thinks that they wake up and they hate gay people or they hate gay people or whatever, right? It's just, I don't know. I'm gonna go by the fact. I think there's two incredible things that you can take away from how Jay went about the situation. Number one, genuine apologies, genuine remorse, and genuine work towards self-improvement and towards making amends for the people he had hurt. You think he doesn't know that he hurt people with what he said, right? You think he didn't get that? No, of course he did. He definitely did. And he worked extremely hard to make that change. The other thing is he completely, I think a comment said this, he took it on the fucking chin, right? He could have made excuses. He could have been bringing it up in interviews like, hey, man, it was a long time ago. I'm a lot better, No, he took his lumps. He still worked insanely hard at what he did. By the way, his brother was with him the entire way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that's so admirable to make a mistake. And what he said was horrible. I'm not going to deny that at all. But to actually stick with it and be genuine in the fact that yeah, you know what, I did make a mistake, and this is what I'm going to do to improve it, and I'm not going to complain about the treatment that I get as a result. I think that's such a testament to who he was as a human being.
Yeah,
well said, Parker.
Yeah, so yeah, man, it's everything that it's like. It was so long ago, it's like over a decade ago or something now, and it's like I talk about like how we've seen these Ring of Honor people grow as people. Like Jay and Mark getting into the business as teenagers. It's like, we also dumb shit when we was younger. Maybe none of it was homophobic or whatever, But yeah, man, like these people, he grew as a person. He was younger then. He's older now. He's wiser now. It's it was really unfortunate.
It's kind of, I mean, it sucks that he was the one out of all the Ring of Honor guys that got caught out for it. Because like, if you go back and watch AJ Styles versus SEMA, AJ Styles yells an insane thing during his match, and I can't believe that nobody ever brings
Bro,
up.
It's because it was a
Bro.
tweet. It's because it was on the internet and social media.
Yeah.
Not because there's actual like. It's so
Bro,
arbitrary.
You go back to wrestling 15 plus years ago, there's going to be something insanely objectionable coming from every segment you watch.
You think Sting never did anything crazy? You think Jeff
Are
Jarrett
you-
never did anything crazy?
Bro,
Arn Anderson?
And
Bro.
another thing that pissed me off about the Jay stuff is like, I forgot where it was. I saw it on Twitter. They said that, of course, that they were going to let him on because of that comment and look at the way they look. And I said, what do you mean? What does the way they look have to do anything why they shouldn't be on TV? It's like,
that's just weird.
I know.
It's like classist. That's like,
I know.
Yeah.
They look like beasts.
They look incredible. They look like
fucking look-
awesome
they've got
like
one of the
dudes
best
who are going to
looks
beat the
ever.
shit out of you. That's awesome.
The
No,
final
okay.
four with the Briscoes, legit one of my favorite wrestling.
So check this out. So my good buddy Commodore Laz in the comments, he says hate it when we use people's pasts on someone, especially after they've worked towards being better and educating themselves on their errors. I want to point that out because, dude, Park, you were talking about how fans act like WBD, right? And the craziest thing to me is like Laz said, when people genuinely try to rectify their wrongs and get better, and fans will still kind of they'll put themselves on this weird moral high ground, right? Where like they're on a high chair with their arms folded, and it's almost like it's not enough for them, or whatever. Like they're perfect people, and continue to hold these things over individuals, whether it's to win an argument or whatever it is, and it's just like. It almost feels like you don't actually care about the offense, really. You just want to be a sanctimonious asshole, you know. And it's really common. It's really common. And so it's just a shame how this whole thing played out. WBD are shameful for this whole situation. It's hypocritical.
Putting fucking data on your show. You fucking
right.
Fucking money. Fucking
horrors, man.
just like evil people. Yeah.
Power
just
slap.
Just
After
bad.
slapping your wife. All right, man. You guys don't give a shit.
Dana shit weren't even worth it, bro. It's not like
Yeah,
it's not like
cool
ratings you got there, guys.
it's not like they were
Fucking
airing
losers.
John Jones versus Ngannou. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was some bullshit slap league that should have never happened in the first place, bro.
That outside of a couple viral tweets and Instagram things, like it's not going to mean anything to anything.
There's loads of viral tweets for all the wrong reasons as well. Like people just concerned, bro. It's like it's outside of like a couple clips where you might pop or something. Like it's like the ultimate like brain dead like sport, if that makes sense. Like there's no skill or nothing to it. It's just people taking brain damage, you know. Like if there was some skill to it or something, like, do you know what I mean? Like it's just so ridiculous, bro. It's like
Look, man. Never mind. Oh, never mind.
Man, he's gonna
He was
go
about to defend slap fighting.
But I mean, like, you pop for it, whatever, but you gotta pop for it knowing, like, God, this is like bottom of the barrel pop. If that makes sense.
Look, man, I'm gonna tell you, this is like some slum shit. You know, when you're watching guys slap each other, and it,
yeah.
obviously,
That's
it shouldn't be
born in West Texas style shit right there.
It shouldn't have been on TV. You know, maybe YouTube. You know, whatever. But,
yeah, that's what I mean, bro. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it should be happening, but if it is happening, like, it definitely shouldn't be on television. Like, yo, I don't know, man.
I will say, man, some of those KOs were insane. I can't believe people were strong enough to do that.
Insane, bro. Like it was
the fastest hour. It was the fastest hour I've ever seen go by.
It was the knockouts as well, bro. It's just like people are just voluntarily basically taking these shots. You know, it's just it's like people. I've seen a few people say like, "Oh yeah," but to say like saying to other people, it's not like something. It's not like I tweet loads or anything on my personal account. I've seen people like, you know, clap back saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, but you enjoy MMA." Like MMA is like a sport. Like you're not trying to get hit. Like the objective of slap fighting is to eat someone's slap and slap them harder. Like
plus MMA is
so
heavily regulated and went through years of dissection and scrutiny from various commissions and everywhere, and it had to fight for decades to clean up the image of being just barbaric and unskilled and all that. So Yeah, I mean, yeah, MMA does exist, and in an organized way. But like, it went through so much to be regulated and not literally be like two guys killing each other.
The only good thing that I saw from slap fighting was when that guy just he just got the shit slapped out of him. It was like over, and he looks back at the guy. He's like, I ate that. I was like, all right, this might be kind of good now.
I was talking to my brother about it, and he said like this show feels like the most like 2005 stoner dumb guy TV show that comes out on like a Saturday at like 11:30 on like MTV or like Vice or some. So it feels like it's gonna follow a Rob Dyrdek show or some shit. And like it's just
that's
so my two favorite clips from that were the three of it was a guy named Slap Jesus. Like that's such an insane name. The other one was that girl getting KO'd so hard that she did a front roll.
Bro,
and
that
then,
was
like,
brutal, man.
And the other one was he got KO'd. They woke him up and said, "Where am I?" And he says, "You were fighting." He says, "I was fighting? How?" And then he didn't even know where he was.
That's not funny, man. That's fucked up, bro. Like voluntary CT. It's like I love a good KO. You know what I mean? Like, any combat sports fan loves a good KO. I love a stiff match in wrestling and stuff. You know what I mean? But like people just openly taking these shots, bro. It's just like what, and you seen people get KO'd and the eyes are rolling back. One of the guys, I think it's probably the guy you was just talking about. The guy was fully fenced on the floor, bro, stiffened up like a board, like. And Chris Nowinski is like the big CTE doctor who brought like a lot of attention to it. Like he posted like the clips of it, and he was just like, bro, my man might never be the same again. Like. Voluntarily taking CT, bro. Like it's just I don't know, crazy trauma. Like,
I'm not proud of myself, and I probably shouldn't say this on there, but my brother doesn't want to watch wrestling or some shit like that, but he was actually watching the slap league with me, and then I forgot who got KO'd, and he gave me a high five and said, "Bro, this fucking rules," and I said, "Oh."
It's like Jackass, you know.
Yeah,
like it's so like. It's garbage, but like you know what I mean. Like it's stimulating, you know what I mean. It's people getting knocked clean out and idiots saying I hate that, you know what I mean. Like it's proper. Like,
it's just it's hard to look away from it. For some people, I can understand. It's shit or dumb guy content. You know what I mean? Like the same way you want to watch like a monster truck, just mow over or something. I don't know.
But yeah, foot Warner Brothers discovery for the day, you know.
What else is in the news, Monty?
You know what? First of all, we've got because we haven't done it yet because we was talking about Brother Jay. Like, subscribed. If you haven't already, an hour in. Please like the video, subscribe. We have had a couple super chats, but literally just a couple. If you're feeling generous, feel sending some super chats too. We've got one here from Far5222, of course. $2, 2010 to 2014. Twitter was unreal. My mutuals matured. Bro, people getting wild on there back in
every social media was crazy 2010.
Yeah, people in general just on the internet, bro. It's just like, don't look up you don't want to look up anyone's old tweets, Facebook posts. Lord help us if we ever saw people's like old MySpace pages and shit, bro. Well, yeah, man, it's world times, world changes, Rob, $5, appreciate it. It's funny because Dana said he started it because he saw vids with 350 million views and they only did 259k. It was gas though. That's the thing, man. It's nothing other more than like viral clips, Yeah. I think I was saying something. I think I was saying when Manny was popping through it yesterday, I was like, "Come on, man! Like, first 5 minutes or first KO, I was like, okay, cool." But like, actually, like sitting there for an hour or two, like watching, like people, and the ratings reflected that. It's like, any KO video, you go on Twitter and go on these street fight videos and shit like that. People getting KO'd, it gets views, bro. Like it just does. Like it's like it's like Cody describes in that promo we cut the other day. He was the car wreck in the Hell in a Cell match that you just couldn't take your eyes off. You know what I mean?
He didn't do that on the Raw.
People People watch this shit, bro. You know, it's
man.
stimulating. I don't want to use the word entertaining. You know, but you know,
Bro, you know, since you brought him up, Monty, what do you think about WWE making the decision to announce Cody's return at the Rumble instead of letting it be a surprise pop?
I've obviously got a bigger surprise.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea who that?
I think we all do, you know.
wait, what do you say, Parker?
Chris Masters.
Oh man, oh my
He's
God.
trying.
I just saw his tweet. He's really sad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, kind of awkward. Go ahead.
No, he's just like I gotta be honest, guys. I haven't gotten called. I don't know if it's happening this year.
I feel like it's really weird and awkward to see like the forgotten 2000s WWE wrestlers trying to like shoot their own angle
every December and January, bro.
Bro,
where's Ricky Ortiz?
Jesus Christ, bro. Matt Cardona, like he's gonna be at the Rumble, right? That's a hangy exclusive. But there's a period where that wasn't official, and he was just on Twitter like, anything could happen in January. GIF of a countdown, like, whoa. And it's like, all right, bro. Like, he was literally like creating his own hype to like 97 likes on post. Yeah. And to his credit, he is generally good at it. He did a good job rebranding his Matt Cardona and GCW and stuff like that. But I don't know, something about it was like, because like Rumble season is always like a hype and speculation on certain guys. But it felt like he was manufacturing his own for himself, where it's like there weren't like all these tweets like, oh man, what if Matt Cardona showed up at the Rumble? Like, oh my God, like it was literally him making the tweets. Like a lot of people talking. Yeah,
man. Every year, bro, around December, January, you get, like I like Chris Masters, pop the younger me, Master Lot Challenge, all that shit. You know what I mean? Beast, it was gas back then times, when Bobby Lashley broke it, it was gas, bro. Go on.
I don't really have much to say about the Royal Rumble. It's here in San Antonio. I'm not going. The only thing I gotta say about it is the fucking poster, bro. How do you have Ricochet on the poster and not Gunther?
That is interesting. He's not on the poster?
No, he's not.
He's in the Rumble match. That's interesting. Monty, would they be making a massive mistake putting Rock in the Rumble?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
No one's trying to see the Rock win the Rumble, I don't think.
No.
It's like Rock can just walk up to Roman, bro. Like, there's not many people that can just walk up to Roman. You know what I mean? The Rock can do that, so he can just challenge Kevin Owens after the no, he can challenge Kevin Owens. He can just challenge Roman after the match with Kevin Owens. I don't know, man. Put Peach in the comments and speak for yourself, Monty. Why do you want Rock in the Rumble? Like, I want him at the Rumble pay-per-view. I don't need him in the actual Rumble. That's Cody's, I'm afraid. That's Cody's baby. That Royal Rumble.
Well, Cody's gonna wrestle Seth Rollins again or something like that.
Yeah, you can wrestle him, but you're still winning the Rumble. You're wrestling him on Raw. I don't give a shit or whatever. He's winning that Rumble, bro. We've lost Hangman. Tragic, Hopefully he's back.
Is the Rumble Saturday or Sunday? Like next Saturday or next Sunday?
I want to guess and say Saturday.
Yeah, I want to say Saturday.
I want to say Saturday. But yeah, he'll be coming in here with his WrestleMania talk and leaving on us, bring it up. Go on, bro.
No, yeah, I'm not here to talk about the fucking Fed.
Yo, everybody froze. I thought like Monty's internet crashed, and then it was mine. So,
yeah, I'm not surprised.
I didn't hear your answer, Monty. You want Dwayne to win Rumble? Is that what you said?
No. I want him at the Rumble. I don't want him in the Royal Rumble, man.
Yeah. I that'd be a bad decision. Cody already is one of those guys where they got to be careful with what they do, because you don't want a 2014 Daniel Bryan situation to happen with Sami Zayn, where it's like whoever wins over Sami is like a protested victory. You know what I mean? Even though the current people who watch WWE, it's not the audience that watched it in 2014.
Sami
so
can't go
they're a
far,
more compliant crowd.
You can't have him go far.
No.
You can't
They have to go
go
a certain
in.
way,
Like,
otherwise, it's going to be an issue.
yeah, you can't go to like the last four or anything like that. Like you can't.
I'm pretty like concerned at how convoluted it's going to be when they split these world titles, because it's going to happen, and I don't know if there's any clean way to do that isn't really stupid. So,
You gotta.
there's no way. There's literally no way to split the world titles that isn't really stupid.
The only way it's too late to do the two. You could have done like he defends one in the Rumble, but like you can't do that now.
Yeah,
And even then, even though that's not stupid, it's like it's not exactly.
That's
it's not
all right.
exciting, is it? You know.
A Rumble
I
for the
don't
title
know,
is okay, but yeah, it's they're gonna do some stupid like DQ somewhere, and like Adam Pearce is gonna be like,
no, he's getting that Chris
after deliberation with the Lord.
So look, he's trying to do his bits, and he
It's
doesn't
just
realize
not-
he's
it's not
cutting
coming
in
together.
and out.
No,
It's
it's
just
not happening, bro.
the things that we put up with at the Wrestle Furious podcast, man. We just want to talk. So I just want to talk Jay Briscoe, a bit Dynamite. Got Ibu doing his robotic internet impression.
I hate him.
Darren Walker, £5. Who do you think wins the Women's Rumble? Any surprise entrance in men and women's Rumble matches?
Rhea.
Yeah, I've been strong on Rhea for like 3 months.
I don't watch the show, but Rhea.
Ever since Rhea got cleared, I was like, yep, she's winning the Rumble. And I've not seen anything to sway my decision any other way, to be honest. Parker's voting Rhea. I'm sure Manny doesn't care.
He's going to win the Rumble.
We'll go Rhea. You know what I mean? Backup Hangman has, passed out the StreamYard. So maybe he'll come back, maybe he won't. But we don't need him. I hope not. He's not normally the internet guy. That's normally Chris's gimmick, man. What are we doing? Royal Rumble. The Rock's coming back. I'm probably by far the most excited person here for it. But it'd be good to see Dwayne back. See what he's made of. Roman Reigns, The Rock at WrestleMania. It's big business. I wish we could still see like pay-per-view numbers and shit, man. See how much of a draw he really is and shit.
Don't you have the Observer?
Dave can't even give you estimates or nothing, bro. You can't do shit. Can't get those Peacock numbers and network numbers, man. It's
the only thing I might do for Royal Rumble weekend is I might go down to that fan store and see what's really going on down there.
What does that mean, bro? No, what's really going on down there? What does that mean?
Just want to see if there's people there.
I think there will be. They've sold 40,000 tickets, so quite class.
They open the store on a Thursday. Maybe walk around seeing Alexa doll.
How close is it to you, man? Like, if you wanted to drive there and get into the car park right now, how long does it take you?
25 minutes.
Just go, man.
You gotta go to the show, dude. It's the Royal Rumble.
Just go, bro.
I can't be a part of Cody's Future Observer Hall of Fame vote, man. They're gonna be like, how many tickets did he move? And they'd be like, how much tickets he moved for the Royal Rumble? And I'll be like, I was a part of it. I can't do it.
You can
just messaging us
in blame the Rock.
Yeah, Ibu's messaging us in the Wrestle Purist chat. Like, did we cry?
What's he?
Hello.
Hello. There's a robot.
Crash? He never thinks it's just him. Yeah, we can hear you kind of. You sound like a robot. You know what I mean?
Wait,
struggling, brother.
Does anybody know where the Royal Rumble, like which arena it is?
But you just said
the Alamo Dome.
It's the Alamo Dome? Okay, that's even short. It's like a 20-minute drive. 5 minutes less.
Yeah, bro, just go, man. No. What's it? Bro's taking this strong stance of like it's a Rumble, man.
It's just go.
Bro, especially me being a British wrestling fan. It's bro, you just
do
guys
at the
never had a chance to
Alamo
see it.
Dome.
The Alamo Dome. They just said that Spurs just played there. for the first time
Yeah,
in
but
that's not their.
20 years. They play at the AT&T Center,
Yeah, so
but they
what the fuck
used to
do
play
do?
it. They used to play at the Alamo Dome, and they wanted to break the record, so they finally decided to do it after 20 years.
The Spurs don't have like San Antonio does not have like a football team. They like
We have the
they
Commanders.
they don't. Oh, I'm sorry. The San Antonio
XFL.
Commanders of the former AAF that's folded for 3 years.
It's actually the XFL now.
Oh,
Johnny Manziel's our quarterback.
Okay. Yo, so
Yeah.
should we talk about this Vince thing, man? Because it's a huge
What
story. But it's
what specifically about it? Like, did we miss an update? What's going on?
there was a settlement.
It was a new settlement, bro. Rita Chatterton finally got some form of compensation, or after for those of you who don't know, Rita Chatterton is the referee that accused Vince McMahon of rape back in 1986. I believe did the case ever go to court back then? I can't remember. Maybe may have. Either way, it didn't get settled. And then a new law got passed in New York, I believe, in the past year or so, where they could reopen old cases, because I believe the law used to be, if it was 10 years late, it was the door was closed. So there was a law that got passed where these sort of cases could be brought back up. Rita Chatterton's lawyer emailed Vince McMahon's lawyer saying that she's going to pursue this, and she's demanding a settlement of, I think it was close to just under 12 million. Apparently, the settlement was made last month. So considering the initial email from Rita Chatterton's lawyer was only sent in November, that obviously got resolved pretty quickly, and Vince definitely didn't want this to go to go to court, or Vince McMahon's lawyer, Jerry McDevitt, didn't want this to go to court or whatever. So apparently Rita Chatterton's received a settlement within the millions of dollars, but there wasn't an exact number given. What else is there? There was something else. Jerry McDevitt actually made a comment as well to the Wall Street Journal saying Mr. McMahon denies and always has denied raping Miss Chatterton, and he settled the case solely to avoid the cost of litigation. So, again, Vince McMahon is paying more money to settle more cases for seemingly disgusting things that he has done in the past. And the Rita Chatterton was obviously, but we've got WB on the screen. The Rita Chatterton one was obviously quite high profile, something that like a lot of people. You okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, go finish your thing.
I think I'm pretty much finished. There's been a new
All right, listen,
Rita.
man.
It's
There's so much I could say. All I'm gonna say is AO once said that Jerry McDevitt, Vince's lawyer, is not him. He is a glorified check cutter. And Jerry McDevitt strikes again, cutting a check. Many people would believe that a settlement is an admission of guilt. Mr. McDevitt claims that Vince did it to avoid litigation. I was not there, but I mean that's that. This was done according to the Wall Street Journal in December, before Vince made motions to return back. My sympathies are with Rita Chatterton, who felt compelled enough to continue to pursue the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, man, Vince McMahon just shouldn't be around right now. He should just I think frankly, him just living the remainder of his life in obscurity away from the spotlight is like him getting off easy, frankly, considering there's like so much on him to where he could potentially get arrested, right? So like at the very least, like he should literally just stay away. And that's literally what the board said to him. Like the entire board of directors voted against his return and told him he should stay away and that it wouldn't be beneficial to the company and that the shareholders prefer he would not be back. But he's just not going to listen to anybody except himself, and it's really unfortunate. And that's just that. That's all I'm going to say on here. And yeah, man, He should
What I will
just,
say about Jerry McDevitt just cutting checks and stuff. It's like, bro,
yeah.
at the end of the day, he's kept the devil out of jail. And it's like, but Vince is probably guilty of half of this shit and stuff. You know, we don't know. We can't say definitively, do you know what I mean? But it's just like, fuck, like, at the end of the day, it's like, that's probably all he could fucking do, you know? He's just cut a check. It's just make some form of out of court settlement, and it's usually cutting a check, and it's just, I don't know, man. Because some of these things that could have gone to court if they weren't settled outside of, Vince probably would have been, you know, behind bars by now. So, you know, if Jerry McDevitt's job is to keep Vince out of jail, that's probably that's whether it costs 7 mil, 10 mil, however millions he's done in settlements in the past year or so.
Why do you think they had to release so many wrestlers due to budget cuts? It wasn't because of the talent budget. It was there was a Vince save my ass budget, on the side.
I mean, curiosity always makes kind of like wonder what the actual settlement was, because she was asking for close to 12, and we never got the number. I believe there was a settlement recently for like 7.5, which is like, that's a lot of money. It's like
that's more than Roman Reigns' yearly salary.
Yeah, man. At least something that happened in 1986, and obviously she never kind of got the settlement or justice that she felt that she deserved. And all power to her to keeping out and pursuing this and getting what she felt she deserved out of the situation. Vince is a piece of shit, man. It's just is what it is. Like he's. It's one of the unfortunate things to be a wrestling fan, especially at the moment with him like forcing his way back into the business sort of thing. When even though like you said, it'd be like him being able to kind of just sliver away into like obscurity, like he kind of has been for the past 6 months. That's kind of him getting off lightly, because like I just called him, like the guy's like fucking living embodiment of the devil, bro. Like he's evil guy.
He's like the worst guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally, like he's like the worst. He's like one of the worst, like non-terrorists, like fucking ever. Like,
and you know the thing about Vince is, which is like crazy, because he was on TV for so long, literally just being that. You know what I mean? Like he embraced like how people viewed him and played this really theatrical, over the top supervillain on television. Right? I think there's almost this element for some people of like, yeah, man, that's Vince, man. Like it's almost like you like, I don't like, obviously for not us, but like for many people, I think there's this perception, the way they perceive him, of just kind of like, yeah, I mean, that's Vince. Like he's crazy, he's wacky, like he's an evil guy. He's a terrorist. Yeah, man. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is like, I almost feel like it softens the perception of him, because that like you've seen him on TV play that. So like I feel like for some people, like I don't know if it's subliminally, but I feel like for some people it's just kind of like people just accept him for what he is. Everything that's like kind of like innuendo and rumor about him, he throws on television. In 2006, he literally had a stable called Vince's Devils, where it was just Vince surrounded by like it was Victoria, Candice Michelle, and Tori Wilson. And they were basically just like his mistresses that just hung around him as he just made evil man decisions, like literally on TV. And clearly it's just like, oh, people kind of know about this and like whatever, like, oh, bring it to TV, pal. Like he didn't care. Like he's so powerful that he can just be himself unabashedly, and like nobody can do anything about it. And he'll just get content and entertainment out of it, and you'll just learn to accept it or not. So that's who he's always been. And he's among the rich and powerful, and the rich and powerful rarely, face consequences for the horrible things that they do.
I just wish you'd fuck off,
Mark's like, thumbs down for Mr.
Can we talk? Okay, this podcast, of course, it was a very somber start, talking about the day and reminiscing and stuff, and then we have to talk about fucking Vince, again. But AEW Dynamite was on last night. It was it was a fun show. It was a good show, and let's talk about it. The show opened up with, I believe it was, God, It's embarrassing. Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal.
Yeah,
World Atlantic Championship. Sanjay Dutt and the team, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, they were not allowed to be ringside, or if they touched anybody, Sanjay Dutt would be fired. So they did the ever so smart, never old thing in wrestling of they bought tickets and they sat front row and they were pulling faces and popping themselves, and Danhausen came down and the crowd had a good time and popcorn got thrown and Jeff Jarrett tried to sneak Jay Lethal the guitar, but Danhausen ran off of it, and the crowd popped huge, and this and that, and Orange Cassidy retained. I guess that was that, man. I haven't really got too much to say about this. I don't know if you guys have, but take it away if you have. What was that,
I thought
it was,
go to me.
I thought it sucked, man. After this match, it took me like. I've tried to get, and people are gonna say, "Oh, you're an Orange Cassidy hater," but I've actually liked some of his matches. I thought this was like Orange Cassidy's worst match, and I think this is definitely Jay Lethal's worst match in AEW by a long shot. And it took me out of the show. I started watching the Mavericks and Hawks game until Danielson and Bandido came on, and I switched the TV onto that, so I missed everything between whatever happened. I missed all that, but man, I just thought it was bad.
I actually, to be honest with you, Monty, I kind of struggled with this Dynamite until Danielson and Bandido. Specifically the opener. Parker's like, you motherfucker.
You say a fucking single thing about fucking Darius Martin.
No. I'm not gonna do it. Listen, no, the opener. I just kind of had a hard time paying attention to it. To be honest with you, it was really. It felt like. It just felt like the embodiment of Rampage, like just thrown at the beginning of Dynamite. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt super rampagey. You know,
the order was weird. It was weird that they led with that.
That's what I'm saying. And so it just kind of felt like a fillery Orange Cassidy. There's a lot of just shit happening on the side match in the same vein as like a Rampage main event that, like, you know.
I feel like probably should have opened with the books, you know.
Perhaps.
Hit the books music first, so that's the first thing, rather than like Orange Cassidy or whoever it was.
I not much to say about the match itself. Jarrett is a good heel. I understand why they keep him on television. Him feuding with the Best Friends is, I mean, that's something. That's a program. That's fine. That's fair. That's really all I got to say about the opener. So.
Yeah, it was, nothing crazy, Okay.
Would have been better if Jarrett was in the match.
Oh yeah, so after the match, obviously Cassidy wins, and the what do we even call it? Team Jarrett, or what do we even call the
Team Awesome?
Team Awesome.
Okay. So Team Awesome all get in the ring, and they're gonna do some damage, but they know that they can't because Sanjay Dutt will get fired. Orange Cassidy does like his gimmick kick things that he does that the crowd love, and Sanjay Dutt gets really mad and he can't do anything, and Team Awesome, big losers. Darren Walker, £5. Appreciate the super chat. The opening hour of Dynamite was not good. Bandido versus Danielson turning it around in the second hour. I think Darren, you're being harsh. You're being harsh, man. You're being harsh.
Monty, I'm sorry for interrupting this. Have you been seeing what Bully Ray's getting off on the timeline right now?
Oh no.
He is like actively teasing a Dudley Boys reunion. Because
Devon left WWE.
So Bully's he's just spamming pictures of them holding different championships.
Oh, bro! Imagine the eventual Edge. Imagine the eventual Team 3D Edge and Christian, the Hardys and Young Bucks match.
No. Okay, question. Parker's gonna give that 3 3/4. If it has a lot of plunder, Parker's giving that 3 3/4. I was gonna say, how is Tony gonna be able to resist the Dudley Boys on AEW? At least for like a novelty matchup with like maybe the Hardys or something.
Imagine letting him get off the heat. Like Bully's gonna talk to him on the side. Hey man, I can get all this heat for y'all. These smart fans, just trust
Tony
me.
can be taught into shit, bro.
They're gonna go out there.
I'm gonna say no. We're being silly, you know. We are being silly, you know.
I think if Jeff Hardy was still like there, I think he'd be really tempted to do it.
Oh, well, what's going on with Jeff?
I don't know. I hope he's doing okay.
We all do, of course.
I hope he's not.
I hope Jeff is suffering, and
we all hope he's doing okay, you know, and he's recovering. And
it's just like I always make this joke when somebody gets hurt, and people are like, I hope he makes a speedy recovery, but a full. I'm like, no, I hope it's slow. I hope it takes a long time.
People are saying the most obvious, you know.
Yeah, right. Like, man, it's
just
really, really unfortunate what happened to him in that injury, and my thoughts are with him, and prayers up for this guy.
My thoughts are not with you. My prayers are down.
You know what?
I hate that I'm such an asshole cynic because just the generic tweet of prayers up with the prayer emoji, it just makes me mad.
That's so lazy. Like that's like if you don't know how to write, that's what you do.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
It's the big pages that tweeted.
You know what? Never mind. I don't want the W's in AEW. You know how annoying those table chants are gonna be.
Oh my
It's really bad enough.
Bro,
it's really bad enough.
I haven't gotten a chance to talk about this. I fucking hate tables chants. Shut the fuck up. If you're gonna pay money to go to a wrestling show, why would you hijack it? Like, why would you change the thing? Why would you make it worse? Shut up. Oh my god. Hold on really quick. So that GCW show I went to where I met Jay Briscoe, and I was very thankful to do that. There was an extreme match earlier on in the show. I think it was just like an extreme scramble, I want to say. I don't remember what it was, but the crowd chanted, "We want tables," and they did bring out a table. They were very annoyed about it. I can't remember who it was specifically, but then somebody in the crowd got a few people to start chanting like, "We want fire," and GCW has done fire, and the referee ran out of the ring, got in the fan's face, and was like, "Shut the fuck up! Stop doing that!" And I was like, "Whoa, you're a hero!" It was so good
because he knows if he didn't, the boys are going to be tempted to just bring out fire, unplanned.
No, because he's like, these people are not going to give you fire, so please do not chant fire loudly on my show. It was so good. Here's
the thing about tables chants. It always happens in matches where, bro, you know it's coming. Like, there's gonna be a table spot. If it's like a no DQ, bro, they're gonna bring a table out. You know it. You don't have to see that.
A table makes the bump less dangerous. That's the point of the table.
No, see, I love table spots, but my thing is, it always happens in matches where, literally, it's coming anyway. So like, why are you chanting it 2 seconds in when they're having their match and telling their story? You know,
the worst examples of that table chant were the War Games match for the Bloodline. I'm like, bro, nobody gives a fuck about that table, bro. And then I was there for it. It was during the Briscoes FTR match, the dog collar. People started chanting for a table once they started bleeding and everything. And I said, no table. I was looking around like that SpongeBob meme when he's a caveman. I said, no tables, no tables. And people just kept getting louder with
that spot just reminded me of something, because it's like that table that they do, they eventually do get a table out in the double dog collar, but it's just a decoy table.
Yeah.
I want to know if it was I want to know if that was planned or if they just kind of got the table up because the crowd.
No, it wasn't, because they started doing the chant with the "We want tables," and I think Mark brought it out.
Yeah, Mark just gets it out, but I want to know if it was planned for him to get it, because you see the spot where Mark's pulled down and he goes past the table onto the bar of the chair. Like, that makes it more like visually shocking, I thought. You know, like he made the spot more like, it just gave it more, because you're expecting him to be pulled down onto the table, and you don't. He goes straight past it, straight to the floor, bro. Like,
no, he did it to stop the chance, because as soon as he brought out the table, the chance stopped.
Parker. I'm looking at the comments, and people like wrote like prayers down, and insert referring to the ref that you were talking about, the GCW show. She said, "Oh, that ref gets ghetto."
The ref gets ghetto.
Oh,
yeah,
my
I think the
God.
match was PCO versus AJ Gray for the
Oh,
Extreme
my God.
title. Yeah.
Oh,
The
my
things
God.
were on
That's
fire.
that's like as GCW as it gets, bro. That's like,
I was gonna say, really, who we have to blame for the We Want Tables chance is literally the Dudleys, because
It's the
they would
Dudleys.
because they enabled fans. Because what happened was, and they've told the story before, they'd have matches where they wouldn't even plan a table spot, but because they're chanting "We Want Tables" and they're ECW trained, they'll change on the fly to get the pop. They'll just bring a table out in the match, and like Vince let them do it on their regular like Fed television. So literally, we want tables. All right, fuck it, whatever. Like, and every week, and so it's like if the fans know, like, okay, we chant this and we'll get it, then they're just gonna keep chanting it, you know. So yeah,
it's the thing is, right, like, that in the early days, because it was the fucking Dudley Boys' whole gimmick. Like, it was beast. Do you know what I mean? Like, when the crowd would fire, would get the table, and you know what I mean? Yeah, Bubba would get that fight, you know, like, because he was so good at like shit like this. Like, you'd have that fire in his eyes, and he'd look around at the crowd, and he'd look at Diva, and he'd be like, "Get that tight!" And the crowd would all do it with, like, it was beast. But like,
hold on, question: why was it Devon that always had to get the tables?
because Bubba,
That's what they.
That's what they. Yeah,
that's what they don't want you to know.
Bubba's lying, man. You know.
Hey, Vince, I think I want to get the tables this week. No, pal.
No. Nope. Why would you do that?
Darren Walker, £5 again. Appreciate it, Darren. When Joe Janela heard that fire chant the next month to do a fire kick, well,
yeah,
I
we
didn't
inspired him.
Well, hold up, wait. Didn't Devon have a heart attack? Can he even wrestle? Devon?
It'd be funny if he just made this up.
Yo, Manny's gonna be like, I saw it on VOW's Discord.
No. I remember that thing.
Will Washington reported it.
100%.
Stop it. No.
Oh my God,
I'm just kidding. He's getting ribbed about Sasha Banks. I like Will Washington.
Yeah.
Of course.
Listen. Team 3D is going to be facing. Can you name me a Violent by Design by like?
He had a stroke.
I told you.
Devon Dudley says he's almost at full strength following stroke 4 months ago. This was in April 2021. Talks to WWE.
Bubba's posting fucking.
He's posting him and them with the
Bubba's
IDs.
crazy, man.
He's a carny. He's a carny, bro. That man.
He had a full on. Wait, what? Why did it say the article says heart attack and then the quote says stroke? What the fuck?
You're reading from Ringside News, bro. Like,
I'm reading
Monty,
from WrestlingHeadlines.com.
Devon's not gonna have enough strength to grab a table.
Monty, I think the funny thing is the fact that Devon is like a man who clearly has these health issues, and he's talking about he's retiring and leaving, and Bubba Ray immediately sees dollar signs, and he's just like, oh, let's go.
Yeah, he's really thinking about how he's going to do the angle on like Sirius XM. Busted open, like him and Devon. Like they're gonna have like Christian's gonna be on or some shit, you know. Like,
he's gonna be like, you know what? I have a question, Devon. I remember when you were a real man, and they're like, wait, what? I remember where you used to get tables, and he just fucking eggs him on and shit. Yeah,
he's trying to talk to Tony, like, hey man, just imagine the heat we can get with Orange Cassidy and all that. He's like, we're gonna come and hit him with the 3D.
It's just said prayers down for Devon.
I hope he doesn't make a speedy recovery. I hope he doesn't take all the time he needs. And I wish him my worst wishes.
Yeah. How many people that say prayers up do you think actually engage in prayer after tweeting that tweet?
Oh, bro, nobody prays.
Well, 4%.
Who tweets that and then drops their phone and then like just
we're like,
you don't pray. I just thought about it.
You're like, whew, I'm really glad I didn't have to think of a tweet to write. I could just say that.
You can just retweet it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay. How did we get here? Bubba Ray. How did we get
We were talking about great
Tables,
tag teams.
Jay Lethal? I mean, I don't. Okay. It's kind of.
Is it Darius Martin time?
It's
It is. Young Bucks versus Top Flight. Top Flight got the shot win. I think this match was pretty much as expected. You know.
This is great. I love this match. This is
Yeah,
a great match.
as expected, man. They delivered what it said on the tin. Like I said, Top Flight got the surprise win, which is great because, you know, the Top Flight have been quite a featured tag team on Dynamite recently, and like, you know, they've had 2 matches against Blackpool Combat Club, and there were extended great matches, but obviously they lost both of those. So it was cool to see them get a win.
Monty, it wasn't a surprise if you actually followed the storyline. You knew they were going to get their big win.
Well, this is the thing. After Top Flight won, I wanted to do a victory lap and be like, I called it, and then I realised I didn't actually say it to anyone. You know, and it was just like fuck. But yeah, like I said, because as the match was heating up, I was like, hold on, Top Flight could really like do a win, and it wouldn't hurt the Bucks at all to lose this match, you know. And it was just kind of like, then it just happened, and it was like, fuck, I should have logged it somewhere, you know. Should have done a tweet, you know, for the history books.
well, to be fair to the Young Bucks, they haven't had a tag match in a while. You know, they've been working.
Yeah, exactly. They're a little rusty. Yeah, that's literally what they'll go with as well. Like kayfabe, like they'll be like, yeah, well, you know, Bucks, it's they're used to the trios environment recently, and how they're gonna cope without Kenny Omega. So yeah, man, it was good shit. What did you check out Darius Martin back Hangman?
What about Darius Martin?
Yeah. Would you say he's him?
I thought that AEW did what they needed to do with the result. I gotta go to a different tab. This is freaking me out. Listen, man. AEW does the formula of young guy gets a lot of offense in loss all the time, and I think that sometimes you have to make the upset like happen to tell the audience that they can happen, because at some point everyone just kind of gets used to that formula. Just like, you know what I mean? They get a lot of what happened. Oh shit. Okay, yeah. Look, man, I think that sometimes you need to have them go all the way. You know what I mean? And I think it was the right time, because you think about this, they had really good showings against the Blackpool Combat Club, right? We were getting to the point where, like, you know, it was time for them to get a genuine signature victory. They won the Trios Battle Royal on Rampage a couple weeks ago. And so this perfectly cleanly segues into Top Flight and AR Fox having a Trios title match with Omega and the Bucks whenever that happens. And so it's just another notch on the belt for Top Flight. It seems like they're very much primed and ready for a big year. You know, hopefully Darius can stay healthy so that this can happen, because it was set to happen, you know, a year ago, but it couldn't. So yeah, man, I thought the match was good. I thought that this was the right booking result, and now we're going for a ride. now we're going for a freaking ride.
Yeah, now I'd say before we weren't, and now, we're going for a ride.
We're going for a ride now. Like we're going for a freaking ride now. All right.
Mm-hmm. No, I thought this match was great. I thought it was a really, really good match. I love Top. I am a believer in, like, you need, like, I think even AEW should work just a little bit harder in making, like, really inspired booking decisions, if that makes sense. Like, it's obvious. Like, I think for 95% of matches, just about everybody who's watching knows who, like, the quote unquote right winner should be for the story they're trying to tell, or for whoever's like higher up in kayfabe or whatever like that. I do think there's a little bit more of a place for, like, a really inspired, unique choice, like having Top Flight beat the Young Bucks on Dynamite in a match, or like Action Andretti beating Chris Jericho, which is, of course, is like a once in a decade style moment. But Yeah, just stuff like that. I think is so great. It keeps viewers guessing. Like it keeps them being like, okay, so and so might win, so and so might lose, and so I think that adds a lot to the broadcast too.
There's some guys that on AEW TV that I wish got more wins on TV, because when you see them, they're obviously going to lose. Like, for example, Takeshita, which obviously I think he's going to win soon on TV, and then Bandido. And Bandido's only been on TV like twice, but I still think like the times he's gone over, it's getting to the like some of these guys were just like, oh, I hope they get the big win.
He's been on TV 4 times.
Yeah. What were the other times he was on?
He was on TV against Jericho, Ethan Page, Roosh, and now Danielson. You're a bad fan. And now we going for
it. I cleared out the Ethan Page one because he lost, but yeah, I think that I didn't watch the match, but that Top Flight win, was pretty good. It was good, and it's like now like these random matchups that we're getting now, and some of these guys are winning on established talent. What was that?
Manny heard himself echo on someone's screen. Just immediately stopped like something terrible.
Hang on.
Yeah, move on. That scared me.
Listen, it was the right decision. I think we'd all agree that it was. It's really beneficial for the Top Flight to get this W, and it doesn't hurt the Bucks. So good business all around. I'm happy. I'm sure all the people who are big fans of Top Flight really enjoyed seeing them win this match against the Bucks. And like I said earlier, we're going for a ride. So.
Yeah, man. These tag teams as well, like you see, tag teams like Top Flight that are very good and have been very good for AEW, especially the past year also, where they can kind of just plug them in. Especially Dante. Obviously, Darius has had his injuries, but Dante and X tag partner, you can just do. It's good to actually give those teams wins from time to time, because it's like, yeah, they can come in and have these great matches against the Blackpool Combat Club, Young Bucks, whoever. They'll always have like a good to great match with these people, but you don't want it to be like, oh, they're just on TV to lose again. You don't really want acts like that. Like if they're good enough to kind of be in the ring wrestling these people for extended amounts of time, and you want to see them at least get wins sprinkled in there, like this one is. It's like I'm not expecting Top Flight now to go ahead and beat every top tag team in the company, but it establishes them as like a legitimate contender in the division. I think it was when I just came back onto camera. I think Parker was mentioning something about like, it's good to always have Rain. What is he doing, bro? At the start of the podcast, he was scrunching something up down the camera to muting myself. Fucking. Then he lagged out and we lost him and he turned into a robot. Now he's playing fucking Mikey Ruckus. What is going on?
When Parker was giving his nice speech about Jay, you just hear crumbling of chips or whatever.
Really? Oh shit! Really? I'm sorry.
Trying to do.
All you hear is like, Jay was an amazing human being, and I think really needed to.
Stop it, man. Okay, Karma 4.99. The Communist Party would want to ask Parker why he shaved his mustache. Not very proletarian. Listen, Carl, we was asking Parker this very same question before we went live, But, Parker, would you like to reveal to the people?
I felt like it wasn't professional for work as a teacher, and I wanted to. I didn't want to be a gimmick.
I think the opposite.
I didn't want to be a gimmick at work, bro. I wanted to be. Do
you not have an apple on your desk?
No, I don't have an apple on my desk. I know. I'm a real ass teacher who teaches real ass kids.
I'm a real teacher.
He has the AEW belt on his desk.
I have the AEW belt on my desk, and I have.
What is actually on your desk?
What is on? Well, I share a classroom. What's on my desk is like a few bins of like pens and pencils and stuff, and like tape, and I have a filing cabinet down below my right where I keep a lot of important information. What do I have? I have like a trans flag because a student
That's
gave me
cool.
one, and I was like,
That's
yeah,
cool.
I'll put it on my desk. I don't know, just like other like random crap. I let kids sit at my desk a lot of the time. I don't store stuff there. I'm usually teaching like away from my desk. No stardom belts, bro. I will never buy a belt. Are you kidding me? I don't support. Okay, I should do that. I was gonna say I don't financially support any Joshi wrestling companies that aren't Ice Ribbon. Just in case anybody's wondering, in case we have any Joshi fans watching, the only real Joshi wrestling companies are Stardom, or like kinda Stardom, and then Ice Ribbon. The list of non-real Joshi wrestling companies is TJPW, Oz Academy, Seedling, Marvelous, Sendai Girls, and then there's like off on its own, there's Pro Wrestling Wave, which is sometimes kind of funny. So that's kind of the situation there with Joshi.
You heard it, yeah. That's the official, factual,
objective
tier list of
Joshi wrestling promotions.
Yeah, Joshi.
Parker, when you're teaching, do you have a
80%
clicker?
of them can go in the bin, according to Parker.
Since we've got a little bit of like just we're just here,
Yeah.
What is it about Ice Ribbon, Parker? Like, what is it like is it how you imagine like mine and like Manny's connection to Ring of Honor's like, like it's even though it's not the bright lights, it's got tremendous workers and people that you can connect to and unique characters and stuff like that. Like what is it about Ice Ribbon that you love so much?
It is genuinely that. It's a combination of, I think, they both sort of retired on the same show last year, but Tsukushi Haruka and Tsukasa Fujimoto, I genuinely thought were the two best women's wrestlers in the world when on the day they retired. Tsukasa may come back, but she's currently pregnant, so maybe she won't.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I mean, high level stuff. It's also the Joshi company that is like most endorsed by Manami Toyota. I think that should stand for something. But they also have just incredible like chemistry. You know how when you watch a wrestler and you're like, okay, this person is not the most athletically gifted person. They're not going to be maybe a top star in the best promotion in their, whatever. But these people put so much like thought and care into what they did and creativity that it was like, I just adore them for it. That's Stardom. Stardom does dojo shows every single Saturday at noon their time for about 40 people. And they have had some of the most compelling and funny and creative wrestling matches that I've ever seen. They're in an actual wrestling ring, so they're better than Choco Pro Gato Move, which is also not real. I forgot to mention them. I just adore Ice Ribbon. And not only that, they've lost like literally probably their top 8 wrestlers in their company over the last 2 years. And they're still cranking out great shows like the New Year's Eve show, the Yuki Mashiro retirement match against Suzu, and then Saori Anu versus Asahi, who's my favorite Ice Ribbon wrestler right now for the title, was absolutely fantastic as well. So yeah, I adore Ice Ribbon. I think it's the best promotion in the world.
Pop. We got Ribbon Mania. Jamie putting Ribbon Mania over in now. So Jamie, I know Jamie. He's not a fraud Joshi fan. Right. Jamie watched Ribbon Mania. You know what I mean? I know he did. He's good like that. But yeah,
speaking
man.
Of thought and creativity,
ahead.
We had Yave Bryan Danielson last night.
This was so good when he was on Bandido's shoulders and he started shaking his hand like this, like he was gonna like verbally tap out with his hand. I was like, this guy's a pro. He knows a little thing about wrestling.
Listen to me.
I want to listen, but we're kind of skipping a few things.
What are we skipping?
I mean,
we're skipping Ricky Starks and Jake Hager.
What are we skipping? What are we
skipping?
Purple hat.
Hold on. What is this? Where we got the Renee promo as well? See,
that was good.
Renee lore.
That was good. They very subtly played, opens the door to a lot of new story possibilities. The acting in it was quite good, in my opinion. Very much this kind of like awkward, uncomfortable thing between two people where there's obviously a clear conflict of interest here, but Hangman, being a respectful babyface, is still trying to check on Moxley while feeling awkward about the situation. It looks like he wants to reunite with the Elite, and that's very interesting. And Renee is just being Renee. Renee's a total pro. I thought that was a well done pre-tape, good stuff. Now, anyway, Yabe Bryan Danielson.
Well, the
Listen.
gimmick.
Hold on.
Shut
Ricky
up.
Starks versus Jake Hager.
All right, listen.
The gimmick they did that I weirdly have not seen many people like referencing is that the idea behind the Hangman Renee thing is that he did his tough guy promo, right, and then the cameras keep rolling after it's supposed to be done, and he is like, okay, but seriously, how is Mox? Like, how's he doing? Because he's fucking babyface. He's a good guy, and he has genuine concern about his opponents. He can put on the tough guy machismo to sell a match or whatever, but he has genuine concern because he just went through what in storyline Mox is going through right now. So I thought that was I thought it was really creative, and I love the Renee connection too. I think it's great. Rob's being annoying in the comments right now. I want to mute him.
Is he having
What's
is he
Rob
spazzing out?
What happened?
Nobody's a fan of Elite Lore, so we can just move on.
No, when
Rob do
when
on
I bring up Elite Law in the latter stages of 2022, you all kick the shit out of me. So I'm not trying to hear sad boy Law, hate now. We all love it.
No, I was anti Elite Lore for a long time.
Israel says Renee's mother. That is very true. We love Renee. Everyone loves Renee. Everyone literally loves Renee, don't they? She's one of those wrestling characters.
Did Parker say she's got it? The thing is, the Parker instinct of the thing is, I get it sometimes because maybe this is just the contrarian hater asshole in me. Like when someone is so unilaterally liked, there is a bit of an inclination to just kind of just disrupt it.
Because it's the Rotten Tomatoes problem, which is that the way Rotten Tomatoes scores movies is that they assess whether a reviewer gave a positive review or a negative review of a movie, and then they do the ratio of that, and that's the Rotten Tomatoes score. So even if every reviewer gave a movie like a B-, Rotten Tomatoes will assess that as
100.
being a 100, right?
Yeah.
So when everybody likes a wrestler, but it's nobody would call that, or a performer, but very few people would call them the absolute best at what they do. It's like there's a bit of dissonance there. Maybe they're not that good.
Monty, throw up AO's comment.
Oh God. Manny went quiet for a few seconds, and now he's loaded something over.
Let me tell you something. It says Elite Lore is the reason why AEW was born. Pussy-o, if I said it right. Let me tell you something.
Oh, sorry.
It was born because Tony Khan had money and Jericho wanted to be a part of the product, and that's why they're on TV. So it wasn't because of Elite Lore.
I want to also reiterate, 2+ hours in, we still have over 90 live listeners.
Who's going to talk more about Darius Martin?
No. Listen, I appreciate everybody who's stopped by. This is very late again, but please make sure to like the video, comment the video, super chat if you were so kind to do so. Thank everybody who's here. Oh my God.
Fuck out of here, pussy-o. Yo, this nigga Manny, right? Go to this nigga Manny's timeline right now. Go to this nigga Manny's timeline right now and look at all the nut ass shit he's posting about CM Punk's whole ass. He's never coming back, bro. You have all these conspiracy theories on your timeline talking about you hate Elite Lord. You're worse than Elite fans.
Hey, are you back? Are you here? Are you here?
No,
right
I'm gone. I'm out of here. I just had to tell Manny, bitch ass, don't ever talk negatively about Elite Lord ever again in your life.
And you know why you're leaving? Because you're a grind runner. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, listen. Monty, can I spit now, please?
I'd like at least 3 words from everybody on Ricky Starks versus Jake.
Go away, Ricky.
You do?
Go to WWE.
Nothing to say.
Manny.
Wait, about what?
That's
free,
perfect.
at least free.
No.
Yeah.
That's
Either
just
wait
3
about
words.
what? That's 3 words.
That's perfect. That is
Yeah.
that is
listen,
You know,
so.
you can have it. You
Listen,
can have
guys.
it. You know.
We have seen plucky babyface Daniel Bryan.
Manny's Twitter's a funny place right now.
We have seen strong
what
style
happened?
Bryan Danielson.
Sorry.
And last night we got to see
It's
Yabe Bryan Danielson.
just you never know what you're gonna get, bro.
Do you guys realize that like we're in the presence of like the best active wrestler on the planet, right? Bryan Danielson is an absolute genius. He's incredible. And standing across him in the ring was another wrestler who I think is genuinely an absolute genius. In a wrestling landscape full of unbelievably talented and phenomenal athletes, I think Bandido stands above most of them. I think that this guy has the intangibles that I look for in every babyface. And what some guys lack because they're very just mechanical in what they do, Bandido has so much emotion and enthusiasm and charisma in how he performs. It's incredible. You know, there's so much charisma out of a guy whose face you can't even see. And it's because of how he moves and how he just
just saying.
Oh man, I was on fire when I came out at the Pepsi Road, the Kings Road. Man, that was awesome.
Manny,
Sometimes I
what
pop myself.
on the one about the was it about the Vince sale? I don't remember. What compelled you to include the stock price in the background of the Photoshop?
Because I had made that graphic for the Purist guys and they didn't use it, and that was the same day the stock went up. So I decided just to keep the stock up in the background while I put them in hell.
So perfect. Oh my god.
Because he's a creative, you know. We've got a couple of super chats before I let EB continue his love letter to Bryan Danielson and Bandido. Anyway, Karl Marx 499. Karl Marx would like to also ask EB to be the official pointless essay writer of the Communist Party, and Manny to be the official Lucha Mask collector. I mean, you know, send an email and we'll talk business. You know what I mean?
if you pay me enough, I'll become a communist.
Oh.
Well, you don't have to pay me. I buy mask every week.
Yuck.
My big muscle lawyer, man, my teacher, whoa,
I'm his
Regal.
teacher.
Oh shit, Regal.
Appreciate the
$1.99
$1.99, Regal.
Yeah, right.
You know, you kind of missed AO, kinda. I guess
Yeah.
he wasn't really here. I don't know if you tuned on and he was on your screen and you got excited, but he wasn't really here anyway. So you know, he just came to shout. He just came to shout at
This is
me.
a coward and he's a grind hunter. At the end of the day, have you noticed he's never shared podcast space with me ever since I returned? It's because he's afraid of me. And not only is he afraid of me, he knows that I have veto power over anything he does on my podcast. And let's not make any mistake. This is my podcast. And
That's
so,
crazy.
Ayo, if you're still listening, I hope you wallow in a sea of your tears, knowing that all of my favorites are better than your favorites. And
I have to say, Ibu,
yeah,
even though I'm cutting your promo short, they're just not hitting the same as AO's, brother. You know, there's not enough fire, or
you know what it is.
You try to do this slow, calculated, smart man's art. I don't like it. You know what I mean? AO's really selling this program, and no wonder he's not showing up.
I'm not going to
scream.
I'm not going to scream.
You don't need to scream.
I'm not going to scream, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but bro thinks he's Jake the Snake. You're not. You're not him, bro.
You call yourself a victim of your own greed. Starts talking like shit. Nah, because here's the thing, man. I'm not a promo. I'm real. You know what I mean? I don't gotta do promo. You know what you see is what you get. It's just the truth. It's the truth. I don't got a promo. I'm not a gimmick. You know, AO's a gimmick. This is evil of Wrestle Purist. I'm not Hollywood Hangman Adam Pearce anymore. It's dead and gone. You know what I mean?
Grown up.
All I gotta do is walk up in this ring.
At Backup Hangman on Twitter.
All I gotta do is walk up in this podcast and do what I do because that alone sells the show. If AO wants to be a gimmick, then be the gimmick, but also show up and come get the smoke. But he can't get the smoke because he's afraid to deal with me. Because at the end of the day, other than screaming cry and muting me or talking over me, there's nothing he could say that refutes what I say. And furthermore, my faves are better than his faves. So until he is willing to step in this ring, then he can say
Who are your faves, Ibu?
in general.
Yeah, when you say your faves, or who? Because with AO, we know he's talking about the Elite.
Yeah.
Swerve when he's on fire. Who else does AO really love off? Will Ospreay.
Bianca.
Yeah,
I love Bianca too.
Yeah, that's like his main go-to.
Why don't you come together over that?
What's up?
Why don't you come together over your shared appreciation of Miss Belair?
I don't want
to. Okay, Ibu, go.
Yeah,
top 5. Who are your 5 faves? You know,
currently.
Yeah, right now.
Oh man. Okay.
Do it real quick. First people that come to mind. Don't think.
No thinking. No.
Punk Danielson Dax.
Punk's dead. No, he's not. He's
Phil Brooks.
Punk's not active. Punk's not active, bro. You can't have it.
You said Phil Brooks.
Okay. Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
Dax Harwood.
Don't say fucking Chad Gable or some shit.
Walter.
His name's Gunther.
Actually, yeah. You ignorant piece of shit.
This is like a 5-way tie. God, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm gonna forget somebody.
Roman Reigns.
No, I like Roman. I do like Roman.
Oh, I love Roman. He's a beast.
Listen, I would have put Eddie Kingston, but him screaming the Puro Legends of the Sky took him out of my top 5.
Mickey Dawson!
Bro, that put him higher up. That put him higher up for me.
Nah. God, I'm gonna just go with the easy comfort choice and say Rey Mysterio for now. Don't make that face, Parker. Are you kidding me?
No, I like Ray, man. Ray's a good. Ray makes me Ray makes me really like almost unexplainably happy just to kind of like see him. You know, and he just comes out and he's all little and he's still Ray and he's just like, and he's still a beast in ring and it's just like.
In October, all I had in wrestling, American TV wrestling, was my 3.5-star Rey Mysterio television match. That's all I had. That's all I had.
It took nice 6 minutes.
That's all I had, literally.
He'll have a good cut-off spot, and Ray will do his comeback.
Dynamite was Jericho controlled, and Raw and SmackDown. So, yeah, man, those are my faves. Jesus Christ, Bandido's up there, man.
A bandit.
Yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but whatever. Anyway, bro, guys, Bandido, man, this guy is ridiculous. This guy has you can't see his face, but you feel everything he's feeling at every point, man. And this crowd is going nuts for literally nothing more than just simply them playing around with Mexican submissions. They're inside these holds and they're trying to outmaneuver each other and get out of one hold into another hold and kind of transitioning and working their way out of the holds. And it's literally by the truest definition working. And Bandido, like he's very determined in his body language. It's very hammy and very, very much pantomime, kind of like a Hulk Hogan would do. But like it's necessary for him. And just this stocky little man, just shaking his fists, trying to get the crowd to egg him on. It was so inspiring to me, man. I love this match. I thought it was phenomenal. Bryan Danielson, when he came to AEW, there was a novelty to seeing him work really stiff matches again, because the degree of which he was doing so had been unseen for a long time, right? And so it was like, holy shit, like Danielson's going like he's super violent again, right? And I think over time he got used to like this new mode he was in because it became his norm. And not to say that it ever got old, because he's tremendous and all his matches are excellent. But it was nice to see him do another thing again, and so it's clear now why he wanted to work with some luchadors, because there's clearly like he's a genius. There's clearly been this like mindset of things he wanted to try, right? And so being able to do that and do the Romero specials and the Magistral cradles and all that type of stuff, it was just majestic, And Bandido, man, him and Takeshita, that is going to prove to be. I mean, unless Tony Khan is an absolute moron and fumbles this, which I would hope he's not in this case. That signing back to back of Takeshita and Bandido is powerful. I think that their ceilings in AEW specifically is higher than anybody else in their age range. It's like astonishing. And
Bandido's a funny one, though, man, because it's all
because of the
how much is it? No, it's not even
that.
that. Like, just like how much is he going to be around? And it's
Right.
like, he's got his other promotion that he seems really focused on. He still wants to do his Mexico dates. You know, he's
that's the tougher one for sure.
He's probably going to wrestle like 6 times a year. You know, in AEW. So it's like
it kind of sucks because he rather be a big match wrestler, which is unfortunate for. I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but because I wish he was around more, but at the same time, he's only going to be here for 6 matches or whatever, and they're all going to be big. So I mean, I do agree with Heyman that I think him and Takeshita are the only foreign wrestlers I can see right now that actually could be world champs on AEW, and nobody's going to care because how over they are. Like I can't like the way that Bandido gets these crowds behind him is so insane, and like people wanted him to beat Danielson yesterday, and I was one of them. I just said, man, fuck it, man. I know they're doing a story, and in my head was like, Bandido needs to win because how over he was, and he was just lining it up in there, and that's crazy to say that when he's wrestling Bryan fucking Danielson, you know.
The way he gets it is like on a level of like ace of a promotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a real performer. He's a real performer. He knows how to play to the people.
It makes me passionate because there's so many guys now who can go and who can work and who can do this move and that move, and they're so athletically impressive, but they have no knack for performance at all, and it's like really, really frustrating. Not to pick on anybody, but for example, Toni Storm, like she is mechanically, Parker's making a face, but it's true. She's mechanically like gifted. She can wrestle, right? And I think for years she's had this label of being someone who's a future superstar because you see someone with all the makings and the tools, and you see how she looks and everything, and it's like, oh, like that's a future superstar in wrestling. The same way you would in sports is like, oh my God, 6'8" wing who can dribble and create his own shot. That's a whatever, right? But I notice with Toni when I watch her sometimes that I don't know what it is, but there's very much this like just blasé, middling, unemotive disposition that doesn't get me excited as I'm watching her. And unless she's in there with someone else who's really great and they really, really work their ass off, I don't see her like individually working a crowd into her match more the way I would with a Bandido, who it's like Tanahashi style. Jesus Christ. Where like this guy Tana, he can just will a match into being great and will the fans into his match. It's the same way with Bandido. He's amazing. I think that, there's always been the stigma that international wrestlers can't get over to a superstar level in the United States. And there might be something to be said depending on who we're talking about. But with Bandido and Takeshita, I think that this AEW audience is ready for them to be at that level, and they actively want it and are actively egging it on. And so if you give them anything, they will run with that and embrace it. And I see it with these guys. And I don't know what Bandido's schedule is going to be. I don't know. I just know that he is sensational. Danielson's sensational. The match is sensational. It woke me up out of my stupor watching the show.
Come on, bro.
That's it. I don't even gotta say anything about the rest of the show. That's it.
Yeah, I also want to. The one spot I do want to call. I forgot what the move was Bandido was doing, but then the way Danielson got out of it by doing headbutts was so insane. Bro, I was on my feet. I said, "Let's fucking go, man!" Headbutts in a wrestling match, and yeah, that's like one of the main spots that sticks out to me. Just yeah, I just can't believe how great Danielson is, and I really need him to be in the ring with Ray Phoenix, Pentagon, eventually Vikingo, and I know Danielson's one of his dream matches is Blue Panther. Hopefully that gets done, even though like Blue Panther's old and all that. I really hope that we eventually get that match since both guys really want it.
How old is Blue Panther?
He's probably like 61.
Oh, Jesus. I was going to say Danielson could get a 4 out of him, but 61 is tough.
Okay.
Parker, what do you think of Bandido versus Bryan Danielson?
It was great. It was just an awesome match. I love. I mean, you know me. I love Lucha Libre. I love.
Right.
I would say I watch more modern lucha libre than probably 99% of people in
The
wrestling
universe.
content creation, and so, well, in the world for sure. But like even people in like wrestling content creation, like the people who think that AAA is still like some AAA is still like some shit show, and think that like they just like don't pay attention to it. So regardless, yeah, I mean, of course, I knew Bandido was incredible forever, and of course he had this in him. You know, he's not just like some like spot fest guy. I think that's what people
Not at all.
sort of had him as, but no, he's just a fantastic wrestler and a great baby face. And bro, he got fucking flossing over with live audiences, like flossing, like the shitty dance that kids used to do,
The most dipshit dance.
the fucking Fortnite dance. He got that over at like PWG. It was unbelievable. So yeah, Bandido's awesome. This match was absolutely fantastic. You could just tell Daniel, like, again, this like sounds pretentious, but it's true. If you've watched a lot of Lucha Libre and specifically CMLL Lucha Libre, like there's things that people do in this that there's things that they did in this match that are very much reminiscent of that, like going for those Kratos La Magistral, the way Danielson behaved when he was in the torture rack for a moment, you know, threatening to tap out, the Yave exchanges at the very beginning, like it was just very, very classic. It was structured very much like the final fall in a main event of a CMLL Super Viernes Friday show, right, in Arena Mexico. So
that's why I was pumping my fist, because it was reminiscent of the Lucha Libre that I've seen from like
that's why I was more excited during the match, because when I do get a chance, like, I do like to watch the CMLL shows more than AAA, because I prefer that kind of lucha over like the high flying stuff. And so it was really cool to see like a different take on AEW of what lucha can look like and all that. And I just can't. My mind's just blown with all like what the matches would look like with Ray Phoenix and Pentagon, like I was saying earlier. I know, because I know Danielson loves this stuff so much, and he's a nerd for this lucha shit. So
that's what I'm saying, man. This felt like this was the match that's been in his brain for a minute. You know what I mean? And he was waiting to do it. It felt like he's a student of the game. It's pretty well documented, like you said, and people were sharing it on Twitter. He's a massive fan of Blue Panther, and it's like it just feels like in his mind, it's like when I get my hands on a high level luchador and I can do whatever I want, and I got 20 minutes. This is what I'm gonna do. And he finally got.
I know Danielson's also the dream match is Masco Dorada, so hopefully we get that match too. I thought we would have had it already on AEW, since Dorada is always on TV. He's sometimes he's in AEW, and the one thing last thing I'm gonna add on Bandido is he has like real ace energy to me. Like I really think he can like carry AEW for a while if Tony really wants to gives him the chance to do it.
I just want to add in, when I think about Takeshita's prospects in AEW and Bandidos, I think that it further makes it imperative for Kenny Omega and the Elite to be like maybe not now, but in the future at some point heels, because I think that it would better position Bandido and Takeshita going up against them. I think that Kenny Omega would masterfully be able to help them get even more over. And so being almost, I don't know if the word would be gatekeeper in this case situation, but like straight up like top of the card opposition to them, where they're put in position to be the ones cheered, I think would be best for those guys as international guys. I'm sure the Elite are super game for working with international wrestlers like at that level. So that's something I'm hopefully looking forward to seeing, is the Elite helping get these guys to like a superstar level, headlining shows, working against them. So yeah,
man, it was great. Yeah, after the match, obviously Danielson won with his knee. After the match, MJF popped up on the big screen. He cut a promo, and it was it wasn't his like, you know, the typical shtick that a lot of people have kind of criticized him for as of late. A lot of us included. it was more kind of him saying that, like, to start off with this feud with Brian, he's just been having a bit of fun, a bit of child's games, that sort of thing. And he's like, but as this match at Revolution gets closer, his fun mask will start to slip off, and nobody wants to see what's under his mask. The person that's under the mask is a monster. Blah blah blah. It was a good promo, though, man. It was. Give credit where credit's due. Obviously, he's a world champion. The sort of promo that you want to see him doing at a certain level. Yeah, man, it was kind of short, especially for Max.
Yeah,
but sometimes, like, honestly, the short promos that he's cut, like the other one on Danielson that he cut when he was backstage or after he just got chased, and I think it was after the Ricky Starks match. There was another one that he done in a pre-tape, and he's like, you know, like, these shorter promos have been the ones of his that I've liked more. Like when he gets straight to the point, he has a message, he delivers it, and he's not trying to. He's not trying to get, these fucking Chris and shit. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, man. When MJF is getting straight to the point, he's very direct with his promos and stuff, and he's not trying to, I understand that he wants to get his heat and stuff. He's a heel. He wants to go out and get beat, especially after getting cheered for the fucking latter stages of last year, which were, multiple reasons why that was happening. But, he's. He can, if he just frustrates me, MJF does, because I know he can be so great, and when he does his shtick, regardless of what the situation is, like I said, you can be understanding that he's trying to get his heat higher and stuff like that, but I'd like to see something new, and this was something new from him, so I've got nothing, I've got no criticisms for MJF this week. Anyone else got anything to add to the MJF mask promo?
not really. It's clear that he took a lot of the criticism to heart last week and made sure to have this be after the match rather than before the match. And I think as a result, the match had an incredible atmosphere. So
Juan in live chat said, "Have we seen the Kiera Hogan shot?" Tweet, no, because we're doing a live podcast. What did she say?
She was just shitting on she was basically going like, "What the fuck was even the point of the baddies?" And I couldn't tell if it was kayfabe or not. Like I actually couldn't tell. But she was just kind of like, "What was even the point of this?" So yeah, just kind of venting about basically the baddies being wasted potential.
She getting dragged because it feels like anytime someone's openly against AEW, it never goes too well from on Twitter, to be honest.
Nah, people really seem like on our side.
I do think personally that the baddies kind of disintegrating the way they did was really disappointing. I thought when they first got put together, I got excited because Stokely Hathaway, I thought in that role was perfect. They were being put in opposition to Athena and Chris Statlander, and Willow was in the mix a little bit too. That was a really cool, colorful thing on the show that really made the TBS title scene really exciting. And it looked like a new direction for Jade Cargill, and she's kind of reverted since to just really boring, pointless title defenses against people who have no chance of beating her. And so, the Bow Wow thing kind of coming and going, this weird jankiness with Red Velvet. Just everything with Jade has been kind of shit for a few months, to be honest with you, to be frank, and it's a bit disappointing. So I hope that picks up. And
Darren Walker, $2. Riley Groves, the best thing about the baddies. I mean, each to the road,
I ran into her man at Arthur Ashe. It was
that's nice, anyway. Appreciate you, Darren, as always. Lamora, $5. The C-Swip Manny.
C-Swip puede.
Manny. The C-Se Puede chance during Dragon Bandido legit made me emotional. What a great moment. I hope TK has a long-term plan for him this year. Someone give me context on this, please.
There were C-Se during the match.
Yeah, but what does it mean?
Doesn't that mean yes, we can?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was Obama's campaign slogan.
That's my favorite part. I like when AEW is in these Hispanic towns or Mexican cities or whatever, and the chants just change into Spanish. It's awesome.
Oh man, it dates back to when Super Crazy would do the corner punches and the crowd would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. And yeah, they did it again with Bandido. It was super cool.
Si se puede is like an immigration chant. It's like a rallying cry between like legal, positive immigration from Mexico to the United States.
That's beast.
That's like the background.
We have educators on this platform because this is premium content. Yeah. This is what you get for free. You learn something. You learn shit. I learn shit. Anyway, appreciate you, Lamora. Mousefan84 199. Appreciate you. Who else do you think Bandido wrestles this year?
Kenny Omega.
Has he wrestled Hangman yet?
That'd be sweet.
No.
I could see that happening.
Like everyone, yeah. I don't know. I want to see him wrestle as many people as possible.
Yeah, who like the people that they plug in for singles matches? That's what I'm trying to think.
I want to say they'll have him do like Ring of Honor stuff too, whatever that.
That's how I would.
From AEW tweeted out yesterday that this is Bandido's new ROH theme, so I think he might be a part of the ROH roster.
I'm not surprised. I hope this Ring of Honor thing is like what us on here at least hope it will be, and it's not just like some shitter, like. They've got the talent to do it, man. Like we were just talking about Bandido being fucking him, like he's next up, and it's like you got talent like that. And
Tony Nese versus Hagane Shino in the main event of TV.
Okay. Showtime Spurs $5. I didn't know what y'all are talking about, but I just had some kick-ass Chinese food. Salutations.
That's awesome.
I mean, bro, I love me some Chinese food, I appreciate the super chat. Always appreciate the super chats. Keep them coming in for the remainder. Alfred Kunawa, 499. Don't know why I said it like that. I appreciate you. As 51% owner of the pro-life company called WrestlePures, I want to say Bandido Ezel. I see though. Everyone's just dropping this lingo.
Bandito is him, right?
Bandito is él.
Yeah, it's him.
He's using Bandito is him. See, I'm the Spanish speaker here. You know what I mean?
I'm not, bro. I'm in fucking England. Like,
you guys literally have no Hispanic people over there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we don't really in England. I don't know. Do I know any Mexican?
You guys don't have Mexico?
No,
bro. Monty sees Spanish words and like has a seizure.
Bro. Okay, so like the most common foreigners that I come across and people in England, it's different in different cities, like, because Birmingham's one of like the main cities. It's a lot more multicultural than like, the rest of the country. So is London, so is Manchester. Just Asians, so Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshi, and like Africans wise, there's a lot of Nigerians, there's a lot of Ghanaians, there's a lot of Jamaicans over here, but not really like Mexicans, Spanish people. We just so like Ibu said, when I see like Spanish, I'm just like I don't even you guys probably have like a rough idea of like what S and L and these things mean. Bro, I ain't got a clue. It's it's hieroglyphics to me. What is that you in the comments, Ibu? Have we got another imposter?
That was me.
Okay, that was you. Okay, cool. Imagine if I just blocked you. Okay. No, because bro, this is what I mean. There was that phase a couple months ago where it's like there was about 5 fake backup hangman accounts.
Yeah, it was weird.
And it's like they weren't even calling themselves fake.
Yeah.
And it's like you know what I mean? Like, we didn't know what was going on, but we had to like block people and shit. It's like people I'm sure were just doing bits, but it's like
There was a fake Manny account too with my profile picture and everything. And it threw me off. I said, "No way, that's me." And I'm on a show. Freaking crazy, man.
Look at this. This is crazy. WWE careful, Monty speaks Spanish and he doesn't have a seizure. It's just the Pfizer activating. That's crazy. Listen, I'm vaccinated, or I'm a supporter of vaccinations,
Mont vaccination.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I'm
Mont
all
vaccine?
about it.
Anti-vax purists.
Hey, none of that.
The Moderna.
Moderna.
I don't know why Layla with that bald country guy. She needs me. I got hair. That's crazy,
That's a really
Harv.
good point, Harv.
Yeah. Harv, I respect us. I respect the grind, but I don't.
Harv, have you ever thought of
She
just
ain't
DMing
reading
her?
this, bro. She ain't reading this, bro. All right, man. Okay. Where we at? Max promo spoke about
Willow.
Kushida and Darby.
There's Willow.
That's the main event. That's just what Manny just names what he wants to speak about.
I was gonna say he skipped to the next thing he cared about. He was like,
promo package with Tony Storm, Saraya Shida. They kind of planted the seeds for the later heel turn. Sorry about the spoiler, but if you don't want spoilers, what you hear, Back from commercial room for Brian Daniels' opponent next week is Brian Cage. Then there's the Brian Cage MJF Prince Nana promo thing where MJF basically offers Brian Cage a big envelope of money. He says, I don't care if you win or lose, just break Brian Danielson's arm. Brian Cage says he thinks he can arrange something for that, and MJF slaps him. Bitches him basically, and Prince had to talk Brian Cage out of killing MJF there and then, and he was very much a power play by MJF with his money, and heel shit, man. It was I got no complaints about this, and we got a good match out of it. Tony Storm versus Willow Nightingale. This was fine. It was in the finish. Saraya distracted the referee. Tony Storm got the win, and then Saraya jumps Willow Nightingale after the match. You're like, what the fuck's going on? Saraya's meant to be a babyface, blah blah blah. Then Tony Storm joins in as well, and they're both kicking the shit out of Willow. Ruby makes the save, and yeah, man, we got heels. We got two new heels in the women's division. Two of the biggest stars in the division. I'm sure they're going to be featured in a lot of the TV, and have some feature feuds going forward. If you're going to put Saraya and Tony Storm together, I'm assuming you're going to have something for them. Probably going to be feuding with Ruby and Willow. I personally didn't think the heel turn and the way that they executed that part of the, story or whatever was very good, to be honest. It wasn't like horrifically bad or anything you can kind of like pick apart, but you're just kind of like, okay, yeah, it's like even in the last week there was no indication of them turning heel. Then it's like, then you drop a hint promo where they kind of like say a few weird things earlier in the show, and then you just turn them heel immediately. Like, it was just, I don't know, Well, what do you guys think of this heel turn? Other than Manny, who definitely has no opinion on it whatsoever.
I thought the execution was bad. I think that Hikaru Shida has been portrayed as a really big idiot these last 2 weeks, which is really unfortunate because she's awesome. I'm not sure what's being cooked here. I think the general concept and idea of AEW originals versus new talent is good. And obviously the people who are dismissing the originals and being condescending to them should be the heels. Saraya as a heel, just as a concept, is totally fine because I think there was a lot of tone deafness to how she came into the company. And so, yeah, I'm fine with that. The actual execution of this angle didn't do much for me. I am not into Saraya overall. I just don't think she has the performance chops really to lead a big storyline like this, to be honest with you. So I wonder who's going to be the person on that side that really leads like the promos and things like that. Because if you look at the eventual babyface side, we're probably going to get Britt, Ruby Soho, people like that. And those two are very good promos, right? You go to the heel side, I don't really want to hear particularly from Tony Storm or Saraya, and I don't want to watch Saraya wrestle. So I don't know how they're going to work around that. But if they can, this could be a really promising program. And if it leads to women's blood and guts, that's exciting.
I know it's alright. I just think, I know it's alright. Like, even with the promos, I just think they're kind of like, she needs like reining in quality control sort of thing. Like, because it's like the message of a promo sometimes is kind of like why we've got to where we're at now. You know, this kind of pretentious look of that she's the savior of the AEW women's division. Just certain things that she said, you know. Unless this was just the plan the whole time, I guess, turning Saraya heel, you know. But yeah, man, I didn't think the execution was very good. It didn't seem very well thought out, you know. It didn't seem like this was something. This did not come across like something that had been like in the works for a minute and worked on, you know, and really like hashed out. And
it came off like it was decided that week.
Yeah, it came off like it was decided an hour before the show, bro. Like, what the fuck?
No, you guys are turning.
I'm gonna say one thing about Saraya. I didn't watch her run in WWE, so I have no idea if she was good or not. But the time that she has been AEW, I think her promos are all right, and I don't really see the big deal about her in-ring stuff. I mean, I don't really think it's that bad. I think it's just
EB just hates her, bro. Like,
I think it's just passable.
I do.
I just think that she's. But I do think some of her work is better than some of the women. I mean, like that they put out there every week. I mean, Anna Jay, but I just really don't see the deal. So I just wanted to.
You think Saraya's better than Anna Jay?
He didn't even want to give a take. He just wanted to get that Jay shot.
Hold on a second. You think time out. Wait a minute. Anna Jay is way more like she's a way more realized performer in the sense of like knowing what she is on the show. Huh?
Oh, no, she's not.
Bro, she wants to choke people out. She walks out with Ty, you know. She has the occasional DQ match. Like, what's the issue? You know what I mean?
She's just like a less cool version of Britt.
What?
We're like splitting hairs here. Like,
what do we?
I don't care about this. I'm looking forward to Blood and Guts. Like, it'll be cool when they do that, and I bet they do pretty good.
Right.
Is this what we're doing now?
I don't give a shit about the story. Or
I don't think they're gonna do it. Well, what?
I bet they're going originals versus. Yeah, they're absolutely gonna.
It's 100% happening. I think
they do it. I need Rio in it.
We can't trust DBs 100%. I don't trust 100% in wrestling anymon
Sure.
Nothing's 100% in wrestling.
Sure,
yeah, Dave.
I'm with Parker. The actual match I'm looking forward to should be really cool. The build and the way they're kind of getting to this is it's not doing anything for me. So
I need Riho in the match and get color.
Yes. Just before the main event, we got a couple promos. They're just short ones though. Stokely Hathaway and Ethan Page got a promo on Jungle Boy. They're going to be wrestling either Friday or next week. I can't quite remember which one. I think it's Friday actually. So yeah,
it's Friday.
That got announced. Then we got Takeshita. He was interviewed by, was it Renee? It may have been Renee. Yeah, it was Renee. It was. He said something. He started a promo, then he went into Japanese, and Renee asked him what does that mean, and he basically just called MJF an asshole, and the crowd popped, and it was cool. Main event, Darby Allin versus Kushida, AEW TNT Championship. Darby retained in a great main event. Manny, you've been waiting, you've been locked, you've been loaded. How did you feel about this match?
I thought the match was fucking awesome. Darby's bringing back prestige to the TNT title. I just want to talk about that one spot where Kushida got him in the armbar while he did that. What was it, like a
coffin drop?
What was that coffin drop? That was insane. I don't think I've ever seen anybody catch somebody, especially an armbar, that way. I'm shocked
to the floor as well. It was fucking
I'm shocked that Darby didn't do his suicide dive. And besides that, I love. Sometimes Darby does a thing where you forget that he's a good mat wrestler too, because everybody just thinks of him as a stunt wrestler. But when he gets in there with somebody that does mat work, man, he's the next level, because some of that stuff he was doing at the beginning of the match was just sensational.
He's a beast.
It's great. Yeah, it's a great match.
I love Darby. What about you, Parker?
It was a great match. Yeah, this was great. I love seeing Kushida in there. Kushida was able to look like a killer. which is cool. A lot of times when he's against like bigger guys, it's kind of difficult. But as we saw in like the Gargano match in NXT, and of course all the time in New Japan with like Hiromu and stuff like that, and now here with Darby, when he's like comparably sized or even a little bigger than the other guy, he can really come across like a nasty dude, and it's pretty compelling. And Darby's just incredible. Like Darby, I think number one because of his appearance, number two because in some circles he's not seen as like the best guy, and then finally just maybe because of like the style he wrestles. But nobody ever talks about Darby Allin as like one of the best wrestlers in the world, but there's truly like very like maybe a dozen or fewer wrestlers who I can count on to go out there and have a match as consistently good as I can expect Darby Allin to have one. So that's exactly who you want as your fucking TV champion. I'm pretty happy about that. This is great.
Parker, you're missing something. There's one person who constantly talks about Darby being one of the best in the world. You're looking at him.
Okay. I didn't. Okay.
I almost removed you from the podcast. Then. I floated my cursor over it, and I was like, "No, it's too grumpy of me to do that." You know?
The way Parker like visually knows, so he's all right. Like,
okay. All right, quick super chat before you get going, you boo. Chi-Town Spurs $2 to disrespect to Anna Mizawa. Shake my head. Hey man, I'm just saying. Yo, Ivu,
Kushida's a killer, man. He's a beast. One of the best juniors of all time. One of the best of his generation, and he's.
I love the key lock.
Yeah. Parker said it all for me. Darby Allin is the only upper level AEW wrestler who has not had one bad match in AEW, in my opinion. Unless I'm forgetting somebody.
I gotta go now.
There's probably one or two.
Because I thought about Omega and Hangman and a couple other guys. I can name like one or two, like just kind of matches from them in AEW because it just happens sometimes. Darby is ridiculously consistent, ridiculously consistent, and the matches all end up at the same level too, which is like a general like range of like good to like very like just kind of great. Like they all end up like 3.5 to 4.25, like in that like bubble with Darby. This is awesome, man. I'm supportive of him as a TNT champion for all the reasons Parker outlined. Kushida, he still has so much to give this business, so I want him to do that wherever that is. I think he's a beast. He's a killer. It felt like Darby escaped him rather than beat him, which makes me wonder: are they going to run this back in like Japan or something? Because Darby's going over for Noah for the Muto final bye tag match, right?
It wouldn't be on that tour because Japan, like New Japan's tour, is all booked out for like the next.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
There's no like openings for like any of the New Beginning shows. Or
no,
like that?
Not really. It's all the full cards are out. Everything. Yep.
Dang.
But I mean, they could do it whenever. Like there's New Japan of USA shows. Like they could do it anyway.
Sure. They could easily throw it on Battle of the Valley. You would
the one bad Darby Allin match you're not thinking of is the Cole Carter match.
Shit! Damn! Oh my god!
2 Dimes match.
Fucking 2 Dimes, ruining everything.
I will say that Kushida actually felt like a huge star when he came out on AEW. I haven't really got that feeling since he's come back to the world of wrestling. Besides his return for New Japan, since then I haven't really got that vibe. And
yeah, it was cool to see him out there, man.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say about Kushida, but
he rules. He's very good,
Nice main event. Amazing match in the middle of the show with Danielson.
This is a great show.
Yeah, I think with those two things, as well as Top Flight getting a nice victory earlier in the show, I think it's fair to say that this Dynamite took us for a ride, guys. I think it's.
I remember what I was going to say.
Oh, go on, Manny, talk. That's just from ignore.
Before I forget, I do want to say.
I'm muting him.
I do want to say this match. It felt like it. For some reason, I was kind of disappointed when Darby just pinned him out of nowhere because I was like, I feel like they're about to go into like this long stretch. Like I feel like they were in a. I feel like this was an ending to like a Best of Super Juniors tournament final. Like I thought they were gonna go for another like 20, 30 minutes, and I remembered, oh shit, no, Dynamite's already about to be over.
Oh shit, it's fucking 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. or whatever time it finishes there.
So when Darby got the flash pin, I was like, oh fuck, man. But I guess they save stuff for when they do.
I love that.
Final.
I love that move though. More wrestlers need just like pin combinations that just like always
Or abrupt.
win.
Yeah, I love them.
Kevin Kelly says it all the time on New Japan, where he says that some wrestlers just need flash pins because they need that arsenal in their moveset.
Yeah, man. So it's one of the aspects I've always loved about Zack Sabre Jr. matches as well. It's like he can just like even with submissions as well. To be fair, it's like he can just snap something on. It's like it's over. You know, it's very. I've never been a fan of like shoot style wrestling when they go like too far with it. Like I enjoy Bloodsport, but you know sometimes when it's just like they're doing too. You know when you're watching it, sometimes you're like, bro. Yeah, like, it's not that deep, bro. Like you know, like but like one element that I've always found kind of like amazing about MMA from my years of watching that I wish kind of you could capture a bit more in wrestling is like this, like it could end at any second, you know. You don't really see many finishes like that unless it's like a roll up, you know. But yeah, just going back to my Zack Sabre Jr. tangent, that's one of the things I've always loved about him is that he can kind of just wrap it up in you know. But yeah, man, if we got that was Dynamite, like Park said, good show. Darby, Kushida, great main event, epic match in the middle of the show with Brian Danielson and Bandido. There was a big moment for Top Flight. Yeah, man, we got some good stuff on this show. We got anything we want to plug before we get out of here? Manny, I know you've got a feature coming out soon. It was supposed to drop earlier, but I got caught up with some things. But it's coming out very soon.
Dumb Guy Live has interviews lined up with wrestlers who are currently in Japan wrestling. So look forward to that.
Yes, Manny. You got anything else you want to plug?
Follow this account so we actually like get some traction on this pod. That would be great.
Absolutely. If you're not following Dumb Guy Live, what are you doing? That's great.
You're the real dumb guy.
You're the real dumb guy. If you don't follow Dumb Guy Live. Listen, man, go ahead, Manny. Go ahead.
I don't really have anything to plug. Just my feature that's coming out in the next day or two.
It'll come out tomorrow.
And then tomorrow, and then worldwide.
Listen, man, watch Worldwide, watch Dumb Guy Live, watch the Russell Pierce podcast as you guys continue to do. Be sure to rate the video, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate everybody. The road through WrestleMania is coming out sooner rather than later. Appreciate all of you guys. Long live Jay Briscoe, one half of one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Appreciate all you guys. Dumb guy. Dynamite was really good. And so for Monty, for Parker.
Wait.
What?
The logo came up, and then Monty was just Tommaso Ciampa right there.
Yeah, right.
He's not the host, bro.
Hey,
you know what I mean? If you want to host, then you gotta do all the hosting things. Like you can't just come in. For the flower. You can't come in for the flowers and the Kenny Omega good night and bang bang. Like nah, bro. I'm signing this shit off, bro. You got your plugs in. No one asked me if I've got plugs.
I'm sorry. What are your plugs, Monty?
You know what I mean? What have I got to plug actually? Yeah, my Jay Briscoe thing, obviously, you know, I don't write features, but as I was mentioning earlier, when I found out the news about Jay, it was like, I was trying to reply to people or tweet something, and I didn't know what to write, like nothing felt remotely fitting, so I just delete what I typed, so I just kind of opened up the notes app and started writing and reminiscing and venting about Jay Briscoe to myself, kind of, and it was kind of like the skeleton of a feature. And Joe Hulbert, who I want to shout out, obviously many of you know, he helped me kind of like polish it and stuff like that, and we got it out, man. So like obviously it's my first feature about one of my favorite wrestlers genuinely of all time, obviously not in the best of circumstances, but you know, it meant a lot to me to be able to like get that out. So yeah, if anyone wants to kind of, you know, fondly have a nice little read reminiscing the career and life of the Briscoes, Jay Briscoe especially, then it would mean a lot for me if you did read it and give me some sort of feedback on it. Of course, Jay Briscoe couldn't sign off without saying rest in peace and how special he was again, just before we sign off. And yeah, man, he will be heavily missed by all corners of the wrestling community. All the love I'm sure everyone's been seeing pouring out for him, all the countless videos, you know, go and watch them, man. Like the farm promos with Mark, some of the promos from the Adam Cole feud, even if any feud, bro, like he's fucking genuinely one of the best promo guys of all time. Go dig out some of the quirky matches that they had, as well as the Ring of Honor stuff, like the Japan tours that went on. You know, they were. Everybody should know how great the Briscoes were. Like, even though we mentioned many times in this podcast, they never really kind of got the big platforms and the millions of dollars and stuff. But they are definitely a tag team that are worthy of any wrestling fan of seeking out and learning about and appreciating. Because, like I said, for me, the greatest tag team of all time, Jay Briscoe, one of the great wrestlers of his era. We love him, we'll miss him, and rest in peace once again, and thoughts and prayers to the Pugh family. And from me, Parker, Ibu, Manny, this has been Wrestle Purist Podcast. Peace out, and reach for the sky, boy.